Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such establishments
by Patrick Carroll.
And nightly police within the
Episode 1.
And to constitute an office of police.
Oh, Mr. Beale, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jemmy Square Toes.
Constables will parade for inspection.
Oh, we have our usual complement of new faces this morning, Sergeant.
So we do have, Inspector. I've become quite accustomed to it.
You'll observe that the orders of the day instruct us to second one sergeant's party for duty at Westminster tomorrow. I would prefer it to be yours.
Yes, sir. Stand for inspection.
All right. Before this morning's inspection, I'm instructed to read out and post the following notice. The Commissioners think it again right to caution every man in the police force at a time when an attempt is made to create a strong prejudice against them, that they should do their duty with every possible moderation and forbearance, and that they should not furnish a just ground of complaint against themselves by any misconduct. Right, you may continue, Sergeant.
Sure. The party of constables under my command will tomorrow repair to Westminster. Large crowds are expected and the Commissioners anticipate a possible threat to the public order. Constable Atkinson, you will resume your usual beat today, and I wish you to pay particular heed to those coming and going from the Gunmakers' Arms in Eyre Street Hill.
Yes, Sergeant, I shall make sure to look in there.
You will do no such thing. You ought by this time to know your instructions sufficiently well to be aware that you are forbidden to enter any house, and most especially a public house, save at the express wish of the householder. You will also replace the button which your greatcoat wants before commencing duty.
Yes, Sergeant.
Constable Smythe, usual duties for you. Smythe, step out.
Sir?
You are drunk, Constable.
No, sir.
Do not presume to contradict me, Constable. It's not yet 7 o'clock in the morning and you are drunk.
Indeed, I'm not, sir. It's only this miserable, cold, damp weather's clogged my head so and turned my eyes already.
A quartern of Geneva or a gallon of port has put the maps in your eyes, or I'm much mistaken.
No, upon my soul, Sergeant, I've not had one drop of anything this week past. Well, only one glass of hot rum last night to ease the ague.
Step back, Constable.
Sir.
Take warning. You are under the strictest observation. Mind my words. Constable Rourke, it's but your second day of duty, and yet you appear to have contracted some dreadful palsy. Keep your head still.
With respect, Sergeant, it's this stock. It's so very iron stiff a man can't hardly move his head from side to side.
You must address your complaint to the Commissioners, or else to the maker, Mr. Moore of Piccadilly, I believe.
Sergeant.
For the present, however, I shall be quite satisfied if you'll proceed to your beat, keeping your eyes strictly to the front, and endeavour to do your duty by whatever comes to your attention in that posture.
Yes, Sergeant.
Constable Quin, you appear to be respectably turned out as usual.
I trust I am, Sergeant.
Excepting in one particular. What have you in your coat-tail pocket, pray?
My staff, sir.
That's not all, I think.
I have a book as well.
A book, indeed. And what book is that? Your general instructions?
No, sir, it's this book.
This book? The works of Henry Fielding, Esquire. With an essay on his life and genius by Arthur Murphy, Esquire. Much any man named Murphy would know a genius. Follow, mate. Containing the first part of the history of Amelia. Do you find the possession of novels an indispensable adjunct to the performance of your duties, Quin?
No, Sergeant. However, with respect, as we are required to be in uniform at all times, on duty and off, I find it convenient to have a volume about me for when I am relieved.
You will leave such rubbish in your section house in future?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why we are ordered to Westminster tomorrow, Constable?
For the opening of Parliament, I assume, sir.
Oh, you assume that, do you? Parliament has contrived to open in the past without several score of police to keep order. Now, of course, we must endure the low popish scoundrel O'Connell and Mr. Orator Hunt and the rest of the Democratic Reformist rabble. You, I'm told, hold your own views on the question of parliamentary reform.
I do, sir.
And what are they, pray? Or are you ashamed to state them?
I am not, sir. Since you inquire, I am in favour of a moderate reform of the representation.
Moderate reform? As well speak of moderate gunpowder. I'm sure your brother officers will be gratified to know that you are in a measure of sympathy with the mob, who well may be attempting to break their heads before tomorrow is out.
My brother officers know that I am in no sympathy whatever with anyone who threatens the public peace.
Though you share their opinions.
I shall do my duty as usual, sir.
Mercenary, damnable, vile wretches, Peel's bloodthirsty gang. From them we can expect no mercy, for their nature, like that of their founder, is base, blood-seeking, and villainous. Well.
And that's a relatively mild example of what's being presently circulated against our people.
It cannot be said that this past summer's revolutionary events on the continent have made our tasks any easier.
Yes, those regrettable upheavals have excited a large and, I fear, ill-disposed section of the populace. And the new police are of their nature our first line of defence against any consequent disturbances. It is a difficult baptism, gentlemen, for you and your men.
We can none of us do anything but our duty, Sir Robert.
Returning to those duties, Sir Robert, are we to take it that you are satisfied with the arrangements made for tomorrow?
Entirely so, Mr. Mayne. Studying over your report, I fail to see what further precautions could possibly be taken, short of cancelling the opening of Parliament altogether, a course which, naturally, could not be contemplated under any circumstances whatever.
Excellent. Then we shall take up no more of the Home Secretary's time, but proceed to put our plans into effect.
Perhaps, before you go, gentlemen, you will allow me to acquaint you with this passage contained in a letter which I have lately received from His Grace the Duke of Wellington. Permit me to congratulate you on the complete success of the police in London. It is impossible to see anything more respectable than they are.
Having been privileged to serve under His Grace during the war against Bonaparte, I am gratified to be assured that our men enjoy his good opinion.
You may depend upon it, Colonel Bowen. Having informed the Duke that the business has given me from first to last more trouble than anything I ever undertook, I also conveyed my personal opinion that his congratulations might with equal justice be directed towards your two selves.
Yet I fear the success of the police in London is not so complete as the Prime Minister is pleased to believe. Leaving aside the criminal element and the political mob, large sections of the populace remain obdurately opposed to our very existence.
That is, in a measure, true, Mr. Mayne. But, as I've also said to the Prime Minister, the men are gaining knowledge of their duties so rapidly that I am very sanguine of the ultimate result. We really must teach people that liberty does not consist in having your house robbed by organised gangs of thieves, and in leaving the principal streets of London in the nightly possession of drunken women and vagabonds.
Clear, Constable, and stop that madman with his damn tricolour!
Now, sir, that gentleman does not want your banner thrust into his carriage window! I am telling you, sir, that do not use that flag, sir, or I must take it from you! Look out! Mind yourself!
To the Reverend Mr. Hodgson, St. George's, Hanover Square. Sir, I am desired by the Commissioners of Police to acquaint you that John Hall, recommended by you for employment in the police force, has absconded with his uniform and all his appointments. Yours, etc.
Yes, that'll do, Mr. Yardley.
What do you make of this, Colonel? I've been through these others, Mr. Yardley. The 4 applications from dismissed constables for reinstatement may be dealt with by Form 7, and I've docketed 2 further letters requiring Form 9, 2 Form 4s, and 6 to be answered by new Form 2s. I do not believe we have a form answer for such a letter as that one, Colonel.
It's remarkable. Mr. Yardley, will you take a reply?
Certainly, Colonel.
The Commissioners of Police present their compliments to General Sir John Doyle, and in reply to his note recommending his name, Thomas McCullum, for employment in the Metropolitan Police, beg to acquaint him that there is no situation in the Metropolitan Police in which a man with one arm, however deserving in other respects, could be employed. Yours, etc.
And I think that will be all for the moment, Mr. Yardley.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir Robert was naturally constrained from divulging to us any specific indications as to what we may expect, but how do you imagine today's events in Parliament will affect us, Colonel? I refer specifically to the King's speech.
My friend, I shall say nothing of politics for the simple reason that I know nothing.
We can, I fear, anticipate no new political developments likely to lead to any lessening of the present public excitement.
Come, my dear Mayne, let us not distract ourselves with what is beyond our control. Problem by problem, detail by detail. That's the only way to proceed. I'm convinced of it.
I'm sure you're right, Colonel.
Open that damn door!
What's all this? Oh, it's you, is it?
Aye, me, Arthur Jenkins, as ever he was. And what's the door of a public police office doing bolted at this hour of the day?
You cut along out of this or the sergeant will have you in charge.
Will he, by God? You tell him, my old master, Lord Trowle's taken up my case. I'll be back here on duty soon enough. See if I ain't Smythe.
If the commissioners was ever so soft as to let you back, your first day will be my last.
Ow! Ow! No, out of my road, will you?
Oh, yeah, begging your pardon, I'm sure, Mr. Jenkins.
Oh, and if it ain't Constable Quin, the young hero of Waterloo. Weren't so neat as usual, Constable.
No need to inquire after you, Mr. Jenkins. About the same as ever.
I don't change much.
Oh, good day to you, Mr. Jenkins.
Lovely, Quin. You look fair knocked about.
I've come away on my 2 feet. Others weren't so lucky.
Constable Rourke, take this one to the lock-up and leave her there till she regains her senses, if she ever had any.
Yes, Sergeant. Come along then, miss.
Come
along. All right, here, ugly great raw lobster. I can walk myself.
Yeah, I can just see how well, miss. Come along.
And where have you got to, Quin?
Inspector Beale ordered me to the surgeon to have this properly dressed.
Here, Quin, this letter's been left for you from Mr. Lyton, left not half an hour ago.
Oh, tell me, Smythe, who was that tattooing our door just now?
That ruffian Jenkins, sir. Drunk as usual, and making threats as to how his old master was going to get him his place back.
Sergeant, I would like leave to absent myself from duty for an hour.
An hour? But that's likely to be called back to Westminster at any moment.
If needed, I shall only be a few moments away. Mr. Lyton asked me to call upon him as a matter of urgency.
Mr. Lyton at the vicarage?
Yes, Sergeant.
I see. Oh, very well, Quin, but be as quick as you're able.
I will, thank you, Sergeant.
Martin, come in. Gracious, you're looking very sorely used.
I have been all day on duty at the Houses of Parliament.
You received my letter, however?
I did. Its tone seemed very urgent.
Just so. Earlier today I received a communication from Miss Staples.
Miss Staples? Maria, have you seen her?
I have not. A packet was delivered to me by one of Mr. Staples' servants. In it were a note to myself and a letter addressed to you, which she begged me to forward. That letter is here.
Oh.
I am deeply grieved that correspondence between yourself and Miss Staples should be carried on in this clandestine manner, most especially with myself as intermediary.
But I have held no communication with Miss Staples for the past 12 months and more. Following my last interview with her father, I did not see how I could honourably maintain any contact with her at all.
Staples, wretched man. How can he use you so after all your years of service to him?
I say nothing of the infamous treatment he visits on his poor daughter.
I do not honestly believe John Staples to be in command of his own actions.
He is certainly not in command of his own tongue. His behaviour at vestry 2 nights ago was most shocking.
If you will allow me...
Oh, of course, my friend. The letter. Pray, read on.
Thank you.
My dearest Martin, I am sure that neither you nor the world will censure me for addressing you thus, in what I both fear and promise will be the last communication to pass between us. A year has passed since the tragic and violent events which terminated relations between yourself and my unhappy father. I regret that time has wrought no change in him. It has become the overwhelming conviction of my mind that there can be no felicitous consummation to the feelings between us. And thus I feel bound, in some formal manner, to release you from all obligations which our previous intercourse may have led you to feel toward me. I will shortly leave London for a space, and can but hope that the healing touch of time will do its work for me as it has not for my father. In the sincerest hope that you will in future prosper, and bear the ending of our old and affectionate friendship with greater fortitude than I can anticipate to find within myself, I am, believe me, your most desolate and loving Maria Staples.
And what, if I do not intrude, does Miss Staples say?
She says that she is leaving London for a time.
And is that all?
Why, yes, that's the burden of her letter.
I think that was very fair.
Upon my soul, the Prime Minister exceeds all bounds. Should he continue in his immoderate obduracy against the mood for reform, he will surely precipitate the revolution that we all dread. Why, his own party were openly dismayed by the tone of his speech.
Indeed, Father. When His Grace took aim at their lordships and assured them that he had never heard or read anything which could satisfy him that the state of the representation could be improved, I declare the Foreign Secretary had as great difficulty in concealing his chagrin as I myself had in suppressing my supreme amusement.
My boy, allow me to observe that while I found much in the Prime Minister's remarks to excite disquiet and distress, I cannot say that amusement formed any considerable part of my reaction.
Oh, come, Father. You are aware that as a general thing I would regard laudanum to be as rousing as a bathe in cold brine when compared to the experience of listening to their lordships' ululations on the subject of reform. But what entertainment could surpass the sight of Lord Grey's face becoming so singularly appropriate to his name, as the Duke told him that the legislature and the system of representation possessed the full and entire confidence of the country? Why, Grimaldi never gave a more droll performance.
You are perverse, sir. I doubt the drollery which you affect to perceive will much strike the public at large.
The mob, you mean? I am sure that when Hunt and O'Connell have set this hare into the streets, the rabble will be after it like coursing hounds.
Thus providing a double setback to our hopes of reasonable reform.
Ah, well, do not let it prey upon your mind, Father. I certainly shan't. And now I fear I must take my leave of you for the present.
Perhaps you will be so good as to dine with us tonight?
Impossible, Father. I have an engagement. Devilish long-standing. Can't be avoided.
I shall at least convey your duty to your mother.
Oh, my duty to Mamma, to be sure, Father, to be sure.
Good morning to you, Constable Quin.
Mr. Morley, you come upon me out of this mist quite like a ghost.
No, Jeremiah Morley remains but flesh and blood. Indeed, perhaps too much so in the matter of the flesh.
You are abroad very early and a long way from Bow Street.
I have a little matter of business which brings me this way. But, is not Northampton Square rather out of your way?
A little, yes. My former employer, Mr. Staples, has his house just there on the far side.
I had thought, you will excuse my mentioning the subject, that feelings between yourself and Mr. Staples were not such as would lead you to go out of your way to pass his house. There's another reason, perhaps?
No, the last time Mr. Staples and I met, I am sorry to say, blows were exchanged. It is undoubtedly a foolish thing, but I do not suffer Mr. Staples to imagine that I in any way avoid him on that account.
I see.
But you've not told me what brings you so far afield, Mr. Morley.
If you will look over my shoulder, Constable, You will observe the premises of Mr. Reed, who has lately set up in business as a printer hereabouts. Are you as yet acquainted with this man?
I have seen him once or twice. He seems respectable enough.
Oh, you gain that impression. An erroneous one, I fear. Have you observed anything of note about Mr. Reed?
Now, curiously, Mr. Morley, I have. The first time I became aware of him as a new occupant of those premises, I chanced to see him handing a remarkably handsome woman into a carriage which was standing outside his door. Both the lady and the equipage were so unusually fashionable for this part of the town that I could not but take notice.
I would stake a large sum on there having been a letter G painted on the side of this fashionable lady's carriage.
Yes.
Mrs. Gascoigne.
Mrs. Gascoigne, but not the notorious courtesan.
Hush, Constable. Do not take all the gossip of the town to be gospel. Now, let me return your attention to the newly established Mr. Reed, who is readily known to those in the circles best acquainted with him as Peter the Screever. Now, the man began as a solicitor's clerk, although he has worked apparently for some years as a general hackney writer, journeyman scrivener and professional composer of begging letters. He's also been, to my certain knowledge, an embezzler, a forger, and now, I have reason to believe, a conspirator at blackmail. Now, watch him, Constable, if the occasion arises, and report to me anything you might think relevant to my inquiries.
Gladly, my duties permitting. But tell me, Mr. Morley, is yours an official Bow Street inquiry?
No. I'm retained privately in the matter.
Oh, indeed.
Yes. I may also tell you that should there be a successful conclusion to the affair, I expect to be liberally recompensed. And in the event, I shall naturally see that you do not go unrewarded.
I could not think of such a thing. We are under the strictest injunction against accepting any rewards or gratuities whatsoever outside of our official pay. Were I to do so, I should be dismissed instantly.
Your official pay and man's nature being what they are, I cannot admire that as a system for retaining the ablest and most energetic men in the new force. Come, be candid. Do you not regret that you did not re-enlist in the army instead?
I do not. In any event, to admit such regrets would show ingratitude to the friend who first put me in the way of applying for my present position.
I need not remind you of our first meeting, I think.
No, indeed, no. No, you do not. The memory of that horrible blaze and the pitiful creatures who died in it haunt my dreams to this hour.
I have never scrupled to say that your conduct on that occasion led me to form the opinion that you were a singularly likely man. And I'm now of the opinion that you are indeed perhaps too likely a man for your present service.
You still do not much admire the new police then, Mr. Morley?
Oh, they're all very well for sweeping away the drunkards and the harlots and for keeping the rabble at bay. But for genuine police work, such as we at Bow Street perform, no, they simply won't answer.
And of what does this genuine police work consist?
Oh, well, such a matter has brought me in your way this morning.
Oh, thief-taking?
Oh, I trust we've come a long way since the days of Jonathan Wild. But the old name will do for me.
There's our difference, Mr. Morley, as between your system and the new one.
Huh? And what is wrong with our system?
Why, what you and Mr. Townsend and the rest of the Bow Street officers do is to try to catch a thief, or at least attempt to get back some of his loot.
Just so. Proper, genuine police work.
Now, it is our business to prevent any robbery taking place and to see that there ain't any loot to recover.
You'll as soon prevent original sin.
The first principle laid down for us by Colonel Rowan and Mr. Mayne says the primary object of an efficient police force is the prevention of crime.
The first result of that utopia, which depend on it we shall never see, will be the prevention of my livelihood.
What a night of bedlam!
66. That appears to be the final account.
60? I beg your pardon, my dear Mayne.
In the wake of the Prime Minister's judicious remarks to their lordships on the subject of reform, 66 separate assaults upon our men took place overnight. Every magistrate's office in the town is a carousel of rioters. And how have you left the Secretary of State?
Well, as you will imagine, Sir Robert, like ourselves, is in a state of the deepest apprehension.
Am I addressing the commissioners of the Metropolitan Police?
You are, sir. And what can we do for you?
I'm really most apologetic, Colonel, Mr. Mayne. This gentleman whose card identifies him as Viscount Trowle is highly insistent that...
I have not come to be balked by understrappers. Are you gentlemen the authors of this extremely insulting communication?
If your lordship had done us the honour of requesting an interview in advance, we should perhaps have been at better leisure to attend...
Did you write this letter, sir?
However, as I was about to observe. Since you have called, we shall be happy to hear whatever your lordship wishes to communicate.
To what letter do you refer, my lord?
This piece of unexampled impertinence.
The letter is certainly from this office.
If I might intrude, gentlemen, the commissioners will perhaps recall that his lordship wrote to them on behalf of one Arthur Jenkins, who was dismissed from the force some weeks ago. His lordship was most anxious to secure Jenkins' reinstatement.
Yes, I remember the incidents perfectly.
The commissioners will also then recall that having decided against Jenkins' reinstatement, they instructed me to convey their decision to his lordship in the usual manner.
The usual manner? The thing is insufferable. Not only shall a gentleman's wishes and recommendations be flouted, but flouted in a form letter.
I am sure that upon reflection your lordship will appreciate that the use of form letters, though perhaps regrettable, is a necessity forced upon us by the pressure of business.
In any case, your lordship, the reinstatement requested could never have been countenanced. Jenkins had proved himself totally unsuitable to his post.
You compound the insult by informing me to my face that I have sponsored the cause of someone totally unsuitable. Really, gentlemen, I call that damned cool.
I assure you, my lord, we have no doubt that your recommendation was made in good faith. And we assume that your lordship cannot have been fully aware of the, no doubt, altered character of former Constable Jenkins.
The cold fact remains, my lord, that Jenkins, as well as being utterly incompetent in his duties, had also made himself unfit for his position by being not only drunk, but actually drinking while on duty.
What of that, sir? If I were to dismiss every servant of mine who took a quart of porter, I should be reduced to blacking my own boots.
I fear the regulations laid down for us by the Secretary of State for the Home Department do not allow us to be so liberal as your lordship.
Damn it, these are mighty stiff regulations for a raggle-taggle gang of blue-coated oafs that any Irish navvy or unemployed potboy is at liberty to join. I don't doubt, however, that the Home Secretary prefers to keep the patronage in his own hands.
Your lordship is under a misapprehension. There is no patronage connected with the manning of the police establishment.
No patronage?
Oh, Mr. Mayne is correct. While we are always prepared to consider recommendations from whatever quarter, appointment to and promotion within the police force is based strictly upon merit.
Upon my soul. That's a damned American and democratical system. Let a notion of that sort take hold and there won't be a gentleman left in England. I am to take it, then, that you will neither reinstate Jenkins, nor apologise for your insulting letter.
We are sincerely grieved that your lordship should construe an insult, for I can assure you none was intended. However, I fear that in the matter of Arthur Jenkins, we are unable to offer your lordship any satisfaction.
Satisfaction? My God, such usage tempts me to demand satisfaction of another kind.
If I take your lordship's meaning correctly, I must inform you that Colonel Rowan and myself are sworn magistrates charged with keeping the king's peace.
Do you know my father, gentlemen?
I have not the honour of Lord Laverton's acquaintance, but I must, of course, be aware of so eminent a gentleman's existence.
He shall hear of this matter, and you shall hear more of it. I promise you that. Promise it faithfully.
Good day, my lord.
The House of Lords! Why do you stop? The constable's blocking the way, my lord. Drive on! Run the insolent cur into the mud if you don't move.
Hold those horses! The road is blocked at present!
Drive on, I say! Don't you hear my master, Peeler? Let loose those horses!
Only when the way is clear!
Sweep that swine out of my road! Daniel, James, down and at
I
it!
warn you to stand back!
You'll want more than that stick against three of us, Peeler! Right it! Kill him! And get it to the man who brings him down! He's mine! He's mine!
Oh, my God, Quin! What's happened?
Murder! Bloody murder has happened!
No!
Oh, Mr. Peel.
That was episode 1 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll, with Mick Ford as Martin Quin, James Booth as Jeremiah Morley, Norman Jones as Sir Robert Peel, and Richard E. Grant as Lord Trowle. Peter Jeffrey played Colonel Rowan, and Killian McKenna Richard Mayne. Other parts were played by Joanna Myers, Ronald Herdman, Timothy Bateson, Alan Barker, Mark Straker, James Greene, Richard Pearce, Ian Lindsay, and Timothy Carlton. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
You Toms and Jerrys now lament, the Charlies now will queer you. For Mr. Peel's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.
Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such...
Peeler by Patrick Carroll. Episode 2.
Oh, Mr. Peel, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jimmy Square Toes.
But in the name of common sense and common humanity, we call upon Englishmen to abstain from outrageous violence against their fellow countrymen who are merely acting in the faithful discharge of the duties imposed of them. So speaks the Thunderer.
I can see that the tone marks a progress, although the sentiments are only what any decently disposed person must espouse.
Well, let us count such blessings as we are permitted. If we may presently prevail upon this same august organ to cease printing false and biased reports of our people's conduct, we shall be a good step forward.
Morning, Mr. Yardley.
Good morning, Mr. Mayne. Colonel Rowan.
Ah, Mr. Yardley, you look, if you'll forgive my saying so, rather harassed for so early an hour.
I confess to feeling a little more harassed than usual, sir.
Well, I'm sure you'll bear up nobly.
Yes, Colonel, thank you. I merely wish to say that I have dispatched the precautionary letters to the gas companies.
Yes, I can imagine nothing more cunningly designed to exacerbate our present difficulties than that the town should be plunged into sudden darkness.
I've also been handed copies of these handbills, which are being widely distributed about the streets.
Ah. Liberty or death, Englishmen, Britons, and honest men. The time has at length arrived. All London meets on Tuesday. Come armed.
Oh.
We assure you from ocular demonstration that 6,000 cutlasses have been removed from the Tower for the use of Peel's bloody gang. Ocular demonstration, indeed. Still, it's no more than we've become used to.
Was that all, Mr. Yardley?
Yes, sir, beyond mentioning that the commissioners will recall that they have an appointment today with Mr. Place.
Why, so we do. Events have been so pressing, I'd forgotten. We'll be pleased to see Mr. Place when he calls. Thank you, Mr. Yardley.
I confess there's some curiosity as to why the notorious radical tailor of Charing Cross wishes to call upon the commissioners of police.
As we had occasion to observe only a moment ago, it doesn't do to believe everything one reads about any individual in the public prints.
Be so good as to close that door, Sergeant Dutton.
Yes, sir. Go on.
Before we join the men for general inspection, I must inform you all, as sergeants under my command, that a decision has been taken at the highest level of His Majesty's government, which will require of all our people the greatest vigilance.
Begging your pardon, Inspector, but the men have been right up under it for a week past. What's in the wind now, if you'll forgive me asking?
I cannot say precisely. The Secretary of State will make a statement in Parliament this afternoon. However, late yesterday evening, Sunday, superintendents of all divisions were notified by the commissioners that every single man in the force was to be put upon immediate and urgent requisition for duty.
No.
Further orders may be expected in the course of the day.
And in the meanwhile, Inspector?
We must carry on our usual duties. I leave every sergeant to prepare his constables for the situation in such a way as to put them in a state of readiness, but not of excitement.
Bolt? Yes, my lord. Your lordship's coffee.
Well diluted with brandy, I trust.
Yes, my lord. Mr. Lyton called a short while ago and left his card. He is a reverend gentleman.
Damnably early hour for soliciting subscriptions. Why can't the reverend gentleman do as the others and carry on his cadging by letter?
Mr. Lyton was not seeking contributions, my lord.
What the devil did he want in that case?
The gentleman was desirous to ascertain the condition of Squires, your lordship's coachman.
What conceivable business is that of Mr. Lyton's, pray?
I could not undertake to say, my lord.
As with bow-legs in a sailor, impertinence is the occupational affliction of all clergymen. And what did you convey to Mr. Lyton concerning Squires?
I referred him to Mr. Nettles, the surgeon.
And what is his opinion?
Squires remains very ill. He has not yet regained consciousness.
Poor devil. Inform Mr. Nettles and Squires, should he come to himself, that his master has made suitable inquiries as to his condition.
Yes, my lord.
And we've again had complaint from Mr. Bunn in Leather Lane that the costers continue to block his doorway at night with their barrows. Our legal position in the matter is not altogether clear. Are you attending, Constable Quin?
I beg your pardon, Sergeant. I do find myself thinking of something else.
This is not the day to send your wits a wool gathering. And I not your previous conduct as evidence to the contrary, I should suspect that you were the worse for drink this morning. And is it your intention to grow a beard, Constable?
No, sir, no. I've not had the opportunity to shave myself.
You had best make an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
What has it come over you these past few days? You ain't still fretted over that coachman or Lord whatever his name is?
I am, but, well, not fretted exactly, but it's a hard thing to kill a man, or even nearly so.
Well, wouldn't he have served you the same? Didn't he try?
Yes, sir, but it is still an awful thing to kill a man.
Oh, I couldn't say, never having done such a thing.
I have, and I tell you it is.
Why, that was in the war. And if this wretched coachman die, it'll be just the same as if it were in a war.
How do I come to be at war with my own people?
Gentlemen, Mr. Francis Place.
Good day, Mr. Place.
Good day, gentlemen. I trust that despite the present public mood, I see you well. Yeah, pray, be seated, Mr. Place. And do us the honour of informing us in what way we may be of service to you.
Thank you, Colonel. But before I come to my primary purpose in calling, might I inquire if you received the books I took the liberty of sending?
We did, Mr. Place. It was exceedingly kind of you to trouble.
And what did you make of them,
Ah, well, you'll appreciate that we've enjoyed but little leisure for study of late. In consequence, I've been able to give only fleeting attention to the volumes you sent.
Now, for my part, Mr. Place, I have already some acquaintance with the works of Mr. Bentham and his followers. I must allow that there is much of value in them.
Oh, I'm happy to hear you say so.
However, as to the late but no less egregious Mr. Payne...
Yes, I don't conceal from you my opinion that Citizen Payne's Jacobinism is rather strong for my blood. And as a humble, and I hope conscientious, Christian, I cannot but deplore his views on religion.
Entirely understandable, Colonel. In my own case, I find... Yes, but gentlemen, much as I would relish a philosophic discourse on general ideas and principles, I have not intruded upon your valuable time for that purpose.
Oh, well, on some other occasion, perhaps. However, for the present...
Gentlemen, I have come to you today with what I hope is a practical solution to a practical problem.
And what problem is that, Mr. Place?
The control of riotous assemblies.
Oh. Indeed? Why, I should have thought... you will excuse my saying so, but your own highly outspoken views would appear...
Gentlemen, I am convinced that in the democratic, utilitarian republic to which I aspire, there will be little occasion for public disorder, and therefore less need for coercion in its suppression. However, I do not think that riot and rapine are the methods by which to bring about the society I seek, nor do I think that any society, however ideally constituted, can tolerate organised public disorder.
I think we may all agree about that, sir. And what, if I may inquire, is your suggested remedy?
I had occasion, as who has not, to witness the disturbances of last week following the Prime Minister's extremely ill-judged remarks to their lordships.
Yes.
It is the height of presumption in me to say so to so distinguished a soldier as Colonel Rowan of the 52nd, but, in my humble opinion, the tactics presently employed by your men in such situations are misguided and futile.
Indeed? How so, Mr. Place?
The police must not wait until they are attacked and then, when they are maltreated and bruised, take a few vagabonds into custody. As soon as the inspectors see a mob prepared to make an attack, they should lead their men on, staves drawn, and thrash those who compose the mob as long as they remain together, but to take none into custody. that were done once or twice, there'll be no more mobs.
Upon my word, Mr. Place, your suggestion, which I must observe is based upon the soundest military principles, is one well worth consideration.
Although I must again remark my astonishment at its coming from such a source.
Why so, Mr. Mayne?
But that so renowned a champion of the common people should prescribe such treatment for them is, well, unexpected.
The atrocious events which occurred at St. Peter's Field, Manchester, 11 years ago, and many other such incidents, have led me to the belief that it is better that the organisers of disorder, and such of the people who follow them, should suffer a few cracked heads and broken limbs, than that they should be opened upon by musketry or slashed to pieces by mounted cavalry.
Oh, that, if I may say so, is a profoundly utilitarian view. It's refreshing to meet a man prepared to put his principles to so thorough a practical testing.
It is very gratifying to hear you say so, Colonel.
Good day to you, Screever.
What? How did you get into my premises, Mr. Morley? I shall have you in charge for trespass.
Nonsense, Screever. The door is on the latch and your open notice faces the road.
That ain't the way I left them.
Well, a passing gust of wind, no doubt. You're quite snug here. Rather a step up from your last situation, eh, Screever?
The past is the past, Mr. Morley. Whatever I may have been, or you thought me to be, I am now a printer in a respectable way of trade.
Quite turned over the new leaf, have you, Screever? Or, must I call you Mr. Reed now?
You must consult your own conscience as to that, Mr. Morley. Here, where are you going?
Why, I thought you'd embrace the opportunity to show an old acquaintance over your new and high, respectable place of business.
Mr. Morley, please, no.
Oh. This is handsome machinery, Mr. Reed. The very best and latest designs. Newest improvement. Cleans itself and recites passages from the classics, I shouldn't wonder.
Well, it don't do to skimp at the outset of an enterprise.
No, indeed not, no. Quite a block of capital tied up in these presses. Not all your own, surely.
Well, as you mentioned it, Mr. Morley, I've been fortunate in attracting a principal who has advanced a liberal sum towards the business.
Oh, of course you have. And who might this principal be?
I couldn't divulge that, Mr. Morley.
And what use have you been making of these mechanical wonders? Visiting card for Mrs. Boyce of Bowling Green Lane? Advertisement for Messrs. Aston & Co., iron founders of Pentonville? And why? What is this, Screever?
Yeah, what you got there?
Sedition, Screever. Rank sedition, or I mistook. Why? Only listen to this. Englishman, you have let a good opportunity escape you. Your families are starving while your oppressors roll in luxury.
Oh, but Mr. Morley, I'll never...
Who began the riots on Tuesday? Peel's bloodthirsty gang? Do not tell me that Peter the Screever is also Captain Swing.
I? Oh, not I. It's money to me and nothing more.
It is more, Screever. Not merely have you produced this effusion, you've printed a bill and not put name to it. There are penalties prescribed for that, Screever.
Oh, be reasonable, Mr. Morley. How could I put my name on
How
something?
indeed? I should report this to the Lord Chancellor directly.
No, you wouldn't do that. Not when I'm on the first step of a new way of life. You wouldn't, surely.
Well, now that rather depends.
Depends on what, Mr. Morley?
Why? It'll have some bearing on the reason why I called on you, Screever. A matter of business.
My business?
Our business, Screever. Our business. I mean, what do you make of this letter I have here?
Why, it's certainly written in a good law hand. Apart from that...
Never seen it before, I suppose?
No, Mr. Morley, it's not as I'm a good...
You wicked shark man, Screever. Do you think I don't know your fist by this time? You wrote that letter as sure as death.
And I never did, I swear.
Don't deny it. Don't have the impudence. You wrote it. But what I want to know is why. Here's a letter addressed to a lady. A married lady by her name. And that letter containing some choice and warmishly sentimental language. And
And a letter signed with a noble name. How comes such a letter to have been written by the likes of you, Screever?
I copied it as a favour.
As a favour to whom?
Oh, Mr. Morley, I couldn't tell the name.
You can and you will. Or rather, I shall tell you and you shall confirm my words.
Oh, please, Mr. Morley, I can't.
Aye. Now, I hazard a guess that your generous patron is a lady. Huh? I thought as much. A lady of fashion, hmm? A lady who resides in Deanery Street, Mayfair, hmm?
Yes, Mr. Morley, sir.
A lady of the name of Mrs. Gascoigne, eh? Now, I've been wishing an audience with Mrs. Gascoigne, but she hasn't been agreeable to my requests up till now. I shall wish you to arrange that audience, Screever.
No, I beg you, Mr. Morley. Only think of my position.
I am thinking of it, Screever. I am thinking of it.
Everyone is aware that there exists in the public mind considerable excitement against those authorities which have been appointed under the sanction of the House. I allude, of course, to the body known as the new police. I am sorry to be obliged to inform the House that in the course of Saturday and Sunday last, the most industrious attempts were made to inflame the public mind against the new police. Thousands of printed handbills were circulated to that end. These, sirs, are the grounds on which the members of His Majesty's government came to the unanimous resolution of advising His Majesty that the occasion should not be given for assembling on a November night an immense concourse of people of all descriptions. I know it will be said that the government is unpopular, whilst His Majesty is most enthusiastically beloved by his people. I will submit to any taint found in the obloquy or objection.
Father, I have come to take my leave of you. Father, did you not hear?
You come to take your leave of me. Take it.
And will you not wish me Godspeed?
Godspeed? The angel mail has speed enough for you and more to take an ungrateful baggage from our proper home.
Oh, Father!
Don't snivel at me. Go on, off with you.
I have left instructions with Mrs. Gregory as to your particular arrangement.
Left instructions? Left your senses and any sense of duty you ever had, and that ain't much.
How can you say so, Father?
Deserting your home and duties to go off to skulk and idle with your minxish cousin. Where you spend the day blackguarding your father behind his back? When you ain't reading those filthy books.
Merciful heavens, Father, you cannot begrudge me a brief holiday. In the country, not far away. In God's name, simply to recover my health and spirits.
Your health and spirits? You lost 'em here. How is it you can't find 'em here?
I believe you know the answer to that.
Aye, Martin. But no, I forbid the mention of that thankless ruffian's name by anyone else in my house. I shan't dirty my own tongue with it.
You are cruel, Father. It is not natural.
Cruel, am I? Was it cruel in me to take liberties with my master? Was it unnatural in me to carp and cavil at that master's very intent and action? Or was it cruel and unnatural that when reminded of his place, that servant should strike his master?
You know who struck the first blow.
And why would I not? Was I to be served so by a hypocritical scoundrel, one half my age?
He served you faithfully for 11 years.
Did he? And did he serve me faithfully at the end?
More so then than ever. Could you but see it?
Go off with you, if you're going. If I'm not to have a dutiful child, I shall at least have my house to myself.
Goodbye, Father. I shall write soon.
Don't trouble yourself.
Are you ready, Quin? I am, though it's strange being in mufti after a year in which I've spent scarcely a day out of uniform.
Well, even with a common beaver and a new greatcoat, you're still a constable. Now, carry out your instructions and then come to join us at Charing Cross.
Yes, Sergeant.
Now, before you go, Quin, you better have this letter. It's from Mr. Lyton.
From... Thank you, Sergeant.
Constables! Away in a quick march!
My dear Martin, I have only this moment returned from the house of Mr. Nettles, the surgeon attending upon the coachman's squires.
I'm thankful to be able to inform you that Squires regained consciousness some hours ago. He remains but poorly. However, Mr. Nettles assures me that he will be fully recovered in time. In haste, Charles Lyton.
Thank God.
People of England! Arouse yourselves! Be free! Be no longer imposed upon! Shall it be told abroad that Englishmen alone dared not unfold the banner of liberty, which they had so long lost sight of?
Have you no weapon, Cully?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, you're a good big chap, but them raw lobsters aren't going to come and meet us naked.
Oh, I don't know. Here, can you get arms?
Come along to Chancery Lane and I'll show you a fine arsenal.
Chancery Lane, you say?
Aye, cut along after me. Here, come on, make way. Are you one of the... here, now, where he's gone to?
And what appointment are you late to, Constable?
Mr. Morley, what are you doing in the middle of this begging?
Apart from counting more pickpockets than one could see at Epsom, why should I not be simply trying to reach my lodgings?
Well, had I been you, I should have found a quieter way than this.
Perhaps. I've only now come through Chancery Lane. The rabble are tearing down the scaffolding about the new Records Office and taking the palings for stays.
That'll be the arsenal I was told of. Now, I cannot stop Mr. Morley. I must be back on the Westminster side directly.
Keep by me, Constable. We'll make our way through the inns and along the river.
Was them 6,000 tar cutlasses we've heard so much on?
Aye, this here staff is feeling like a bare twig just now.
What are those devils up to? On the city side?
And where are the city constables, I should like to know?
Oh, in bed. If they ain't in the mob themselves.
They ain't getting any closer anyway. Not yet.
Constable Ronald!
Yes, Sergeant?
Any sign of Constable Quin?
None yet, Sergeant. We're a-watching.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes, sir.
Be so good as to have these messages conveyed to His Grace the Prime Minister and to Colonel Rowan at Whitehall Place.
Yes, sir. This note has arrived from the Commissioners. Are there fresh developments?
Compose yourself, Mr. Phillips. We have a troop of constables ringed round the house. I think we may trust our safety to them.
No doubt, Sir Robert, no doubt. Nevertheless, I confess to finding the prospect of what threatens to go forward tonight most dispiriting.
That will depend upon the outcome. I am confident that the new police will be equal to any situation which may arise.
I am happy to share the Home Secretary's confidence. The alternative is...
Appalling, I agree, Mr. Phillips. If control of the street should revert to the mob, all hope of orderly progress will evaporate. That cannot and will not happen. I think we may expect our crisis within the hour, Mr. Phillips. I shall presently have a communication for His Majesty. Please have a messenger at hand.
Yes, Sir Robert.
Quin, are you back safely? Who's this gentleman with you?
Jeremiah Morley at your service, Sergeant.
Mr. Morley of Bow Street?
The same, sir.
Oh, an honour, I'm sure, Mr. Morley, but you will forgive me. Now, Quin, what's going forward the other side of Temple Bar?
The Rotunda meeting has broken up and the mob come across Blackfriars Bridge. More are coming from the east and north, and Mr. Morley has seen many arming themselves in Chancery Lane.
Look, are the gas lights still lit?
As yet they are.
What is the report, Sergeant? Who's this gentleman?
Mr. Morley, Inspector. Mr. Morley of Bow Street.
Oh, Mr. Morley? Well, I'd hardly expected. Look, you'll understand, Mr. Morley, we are under some
Oh, just so,
pressure.
Inspector. Ignore me entirely. I'm not here.
Thank you, sir. Now, Quin, what can you tell us as to numbers? How many against us? And you'd best resume your uniform coat and hat.
700 to 800 at Temple Bar, as many again scattered about the city, and another 300 to 400 at the west end of the town, the majority converging towards Apsley House.
The Prime Minister's household must make do with such men as are there already. No more can be spared.
What of our own position?
The headquarters party are issued with swords and posted at the entrances, Whitehall Place and Scotland Yard both.
Shall we have actually to fight on our own doorstep, Colonel?
My dear Mayne, all of the method and discipline which we've been at such pains to instill into our men over the past 15 months is about to be put to the test. Should our training and organisation fail, we shall know that we ourselves have failed. At the present moment, we must trust to the valour of the men.
And to the tactical advice of Mr. Francis Place.
Here they are! Draw staves and stand ready!
In the King's name, I call upon this assembly to disperse!
Charge and scatter!
Viscount Trowle, gentlemen.
Good day, my lord. Pray be seated.
I shall stand, thank you, sir. The method of this proceeding is already rather too informal for my taste.
As you wish, my lord. Police Constable number 47, G Division, Quin.
Sir.
I recognise the blackguard.
Constable, you are aware that this gentleman has been in communication with this office concerning your conduct?
I warned you, gentlemen, that you should deal with me again.
You did indeed, my lord.
I have been honoured by the receipt of another of the Commissioner's form letters. This concerning my abused coachman, Squires.
Your lordship's condescension in attending personally in a matter involving merely a servant is to be admired.
As my coachman is presently confined to the bed in which he is singularly fortunate not to have died, and as I consider his treatment at the hands of the police to be an enormity of the utmost degree, I cannot but take personal notice.
Most understandable. Constable Quin, as you are also aware, whenever the Commissioners receive a complaint concerning a member of the police force, the complainant is invited either to raise an action against the man involved or to attend here in order to confront that member of the police and to present his case and witnesses to the consideration of Mr. Mayne and myself.
And by universal opinion, with which I am in complete agreement, a damned un-English, Star Chamber Inquisition it is.
I have heard that view expressed, my lord, and as a lawyer I only observe that our justice, imperfect as it may be, is certainly quicker and more economically obtained than that on offer elsewhere, although, as Colonel Rowan has said, the choice of tribunal is entirely that of the complainant.
Come, gentlemen, let us get on, if you please. This minion of yours has viciously assaulted my coachman and very nearly killed him. There can be no dispute in the matter. I witnessed the entire incident myself.
Constable Quin?
I cannot deny inflicting the injuries in question. I am deeply grieved to have been forced to do so.
Forced? Upon my soul. Is there a general instruction requiring your men to break the heads of all the populace?
I was attacked in the course of my duties by his lordship's coachman and 2 other of his servants. I had no choice but to defend myself. And I will respectfully add that his lordship was not an entirely passive witness.
How so, Constable?
As I recollect his words, his lordship cried out to his servants, "Thrash him, kill him." And he offered a reward to the man that should bring me down.
Upon my word, Lord Trowle.
It's a despicable lie. I said no such words.
Constable, will you stand by what you have just said under oath?
I will, and if necessary, I will bring brother officers to witness the truth of what I say.
Brother officers? Gentlemen, I insist that this callous ruffian be visited with the severest punishment available.
I fear, my lord, that nothing I have heard today would justify me in such a course.
You are, I see, dedicated and determined to insult me. I have given you my word as a gentleman and peer of the realm, and you refuse to take it against that of a common constable.
I know from my own experience and observation that Constable Quin is not a common constable. However, even if he were the commonest of constables, I should be no less inclined to believe his word, all else being equal, than I would that of the Archbishop of Canterbury.
We shall see if a proper court of law shall be so easily imposed upon. Good day!
Constable, you're aware of what must now go forward?
I think so, sir.
The coachman, Squires, will almost certainly, at the instigation of his master, bring an action against you for assault, or worse.
And I fear that your only recourse will be to bring a countercharge.
Yes, I quite see that, sir.
That countercharge must be brought in your own name, and we, sadly, can offer you scant practical aid in the matter.
We'll do all in our power to prevail upon the Secretary of State for some relief of a pecuniary nature. But that, and our moral support aside, you must enter the courtroom as naked and in as lonely a condition as any Daniel entering into the lion's den.
That was episode 2 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll, with Mick Ford as Martin Quin, James Booth as Jeremiah Morley, Norman Jones as Sir Robert Peale, Joanna Myers as Maria Staples, and Richard E. Grant as Lord Trowle. Peter Jeffrey played Colonel Rowan, and Killian McKenna Richard Mayne. Peter the Screever was played by Fraser Carr, and Francis Place by Mark Straker. Other parts are played by Timothy Bateson, Richard Pearce, Ian Lindsay, James Greene, Alan Barker, Timothy Carlton, and Ronald Herdman. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
For Mr. Peel's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.
Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such...
Peeler by Patrick Carroll. Episode 3.
Oh, Mr. Peel, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jimmy Square Toes.
Constable Quin, are you familiar with the booklet which I hold in my hand?
Yes, sir, I am. It is the handbook
Pray
of... General...
silence, Constable. I did not ask you what it was. I inquired if you were familiar with it. For the information of the court, I will identify the booklet in question. It is the Handbook of General Instructions, which is, I believe, issued to all ranks of the new Metropolitan Police upon the assumption of their duties.
I have read the document in question. It is, in my view, an infamous document, containing pernicious and mischievous instructions to a force that is dubious in its constitutionality and held by many respectable people to be entirely un-English. However, it is not Sir Robert Peel's police force which is on trial here.
Indeed not, Mr. Rowe. Constable Quin, you say you are familiar with the booklet. How familiar?
If I may say so, without presumption, I believe I could undertake to recite passages of it from memory.
Indeed. Are you equally acquainted with the passage from the section headed Police Constables, which states, he will be civil and attentive to persons of every rank and class?
I am, sir. The sentence, if the bench will permit me, the sentence continues, insolence and incivility will not be passed over.
That is correct, Constable. Do you wish the court to understand that in your judgment it is respectful and civil to crack a man's head open with a staff?
Of course I do not. I was merely...
To resume! He must be particularly cautious not to interfere idly and unnecessarily. Do you consider that on the occasion which concerns us you followed that instruction?
The gentleman will recall that at the time of the incident, large and unruly crowds were gathered in the vicinity of the Houses of Parliament. I felt it necessary, in order to fulfil my instructions, to halt the carriage driven by Mr. Squires, and I will again add, if the court permits, that the instruction quoted by counsel goes on to say, when required to act, he will do so with decision and boldness.
Decision and boldness, indeed! To strike an unarmed man a blow with a staff which well-nigh killed him!
I considered myself at the time to be acting entirely in self-defence.
Self-defence? With the court's indulgence, I will read out one last excerpt from the section of the handbook addressed to police constables.
By all means.
He must remember that there is no qualification more indispensable to a police officer than a perfect command of temper, never suffering himself to be moved in the slightest degree by any language or threats that may be used. If he do his duty in a quiet and determined manner, such conduct will induce well-disposed bystanders to assist him should he require it. On this occasion, was your conduct such that it induced well-disposed bystanders to assist you?
No, sir.
And why was that, Constable?
Because, sir, there were no bystanders near enough.
What? In all those throngs of people?
No well-disposed bystanders.
Oh, come now, Constable, what of his lordship's footmen?
I did not consider them to be bystanders. They were, in fact, joined in the attack against me.
Oh.
It was that circumstance which led me to draw my staff.
Had you no colleagues?
None immediately to hand, and those nearest were very hardly pressed by the crowds.
And Mr. Squire's master, Lord Trowle,
Did he not attempt to assist you in your duty of maintaining the public order?
Indeed he did not, sir. He urged his servants on to assault me.
Constable! You are surely mistaken.
I regret to say I am not, sir. His lordship's words, as I had reason to recall to my superiors, were, thrash him, kill him, a guinea to the man who brings him down.
You remember hearing distinctly all of that speech in the thick of a melee?
Yes, sir, they were cried out very loudly by his lordship almost before a blow was struck.
That is your contention, Constable?
Yes, sir.
The bench will allow me to advise that we shall return to this point at a later stage.
As you wish, Brother Cazalet.
One last question, Constable. Do you consider yourself a hot-tempered man?
Why, no, sir. No, not unusually so.
Not unusually, sir. Thank you, Constable. That will be all for the present.
Why, what is it? What has occurred? They are out, sir. Defeated by 29 votes on the Chancellor's civil list motion. The Ministry is defeated. Wellington must resign and Peel with him.
I felt it my duty to wait upon the King, and humbly and respectfully to inform His Majesty that I perceive it is no longer in my power to undertake the administration of public affairs, either with satisfaction to my own feelings or with perfect advantage to the country. Sir, His Majesty has been graciously pleased to accept the resignation thus tendered on my part.
Ah, Mr. Reed, punctual to your time as usual. I observe that you are not alone, Mr. Reed.
A thousand apologies, Mrs. Gascoigne, but this gentleman was most insistent that I introduce him.
Indeed. And who is the extremely insistent gentleman?
Jeremiah Morley, ma'am, at your service.
Mr. Morley of Bow Street.
I cannot conceive in what way Mr. Morley could possibly hope to profit from an interview with me. I recollect that I tried to convey as much to the gentleman when he addressed himself to me not long ago.
You do yourself an injustice, ma'am. No man could fail to profit from the privilege of your society. And conversation.
How very gallant. But I'm sure you are quite mistaken, sir. Mr. Morley of Bow Street is, or so I am told, a considerable public figure, deeply immersed in the great tide of events and affairs, while I, as one can see, am quite retired here from the world and society.
Again, you are too modest, ma'am. The name of Mrs. Gascoigne is a byword for everything, of course, that is elegant and refined. Am I not right, Screever?
Really, Mr. Morley, how am I to reply?
I am sure you will allow Mr. Reed to excuse himself, while you, sir, explain the purpose of your visit.
That will be unnecessary, Mrs. Gascoigne. Mr. Reed's place is here. And whatever else may be said of Mr. Reed, he always knows his place.
I hope I do, Mr. Morley.
Ma'am, you are acquainted with Mrs. Abrahams, widow of Mr. Joseph Abrahams, late of Ely Place, Charterhouse Street?
Am I, sir?
Come, Mrs. Gascoigne. The lady's been observed coming to and going from this house on more than one occasion.
Indeed. And how does so respectable-sounding a lady come to have her movements noted by an officer of Bow Street?
By conducting herself in such a manner as to become the object of deepest concern to her family.
What has such conduct to do with me, pray?
That is what I'm anxious to discover. Be so good as to tell me what purposes Mrs. Abraham's visits to this house. Come, ma'am, I will know at the last.
Why, sir, as I am sure you are aware, I am myself a widowed lady. The late Mr. Gascoigne did not die a rich man. In order, therefore, to eke out my very meagre resources, I have allowed myself to become available for a modest fee to certain respectable ladies as an adviser in matters of personal health and toilette.
Indeed, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I trust I do not flatter myself when I say that I have acquired an extensive knowledge and perfected diverse techniques which allow me to help ladies who are, like myself, past the first blush, to retain and enhance those gifts which nature bestows in youth and sadly repossesses as we grow older.
A useful and highly altruistic occupation, ma'am. I do not doubt that you bring great comfort to those ladies who avail themselves of your ministrations.
And to their husbands, eh?
Quite so, Mr. Reed. But as Mr. Morley tells us, Mrs. Abrahams has no husband.
Well, true, she has not. Had she, the circumstances would be more distressing to a family than they are even now.
What circumstances, Mr. Morley, if I may inquire?
Those of a lady being in receipt of several letters from a young gentleman of title. Letters so ardent and indecorous in their language that, referring as they do to an entirely unacknowledged intimacy, they must compromise the lady in the most serious manner.
Sir, while I admit to some slight professional acquaintance with Mrs. Abrahams, I fail to see what the lady's correspondence, however regrettable, has to do with me.
Mrs. Gascoigne, those letters are addressed in care of this house.
I can hardly be held responsible for that.
Ma'am, those letters refer to you personally, in terms which imply your knowledge of, nay, your complicity in the liaison.
You are ridiculous, sir. Entirely absurd.
And those letters, despite bearing the signature of another name, were in fact written by our friend Mr. Reed. Am I not right, Screever?
Really, Mr. Morley, I've already explained that I undertook the copying of those letters as a favour.
And I ask you again, Screever, a favour for whom? For Mrs. Gascoigne?
Not for me, Mr. Morley, most decidedly not for me.
I cannot say, Mr. Morley.
Sir, I assure you that I am entirely ignorant of any letters to or from Mrs. Abrahams. I know nothing of their contents or provenance. And now I must ask you to leave me.
As you wish, ma'am. With no provable facts in contradiction, I must naturally accept your assertion.
That is a mercy at the least.
However, I do not scruple to say that I shall be continuing in the matter, and that it may be necessary for me to wait upon you again, ma'am. I trust I shall encounter no obstacles should the occasion arise.
Most assuredly not, Mr. Morley. Good day.
Extraordinarily handsome and elegant woman, Screever.
Oh, very, yes, sir.
Everything about the lady evinces the most perfectly refined taste. I particularly admired the very fine cameo brooch she wore at her bosom.
The brooch? Oh, yeah, the brooch, to be sure.
Very fine. I doubt one could find its duplicate in all of London.
Now, Mr. Jenkins, will you tell the court, did Constable Quin actually strike you on the occasion you have described?
Why, no, sir. Not just to say actually struck me with his fist, but he did give me a good hard shove.
And did you retaliate against this good hard shove?
Why, no, sir. I did not.
Why not, Mr. Jenkins?
Martin Quin is half a foot taller than what I am, and 3 stone heavier if he's an ounce. I'm not a craven man, I hope, sir, but I'm no chucklehead neither.
Silence. Brother Caslett, if you have concluded, perhaps you will permit me to...
By all means, Mr. Rowe.
Constable Quin, as you are unrepresented, do you wish the bench to ask witness any questions?
Oh, yes, sir. You might ask Mr. Jenkins how much he'd had to drink the morning he's spoken of, what damage he did to our section house that day, and what terms of threatening abuse he used to me before I pushed him away.
Mr. Jenkins?
If Constable Quin is saying I was drunk that day, I deny it. And the only damage I recall doing was to break the chair I fell upon when he knocked me over.
And the terms of threatening abuse?
I never threatened him. I warned him that I wouldn't be used by him the same way as he used old John Staples. No, not if he was twice my size.
And who, pray, is John Staples?
Why, he's old master in the coopering. Some 12 months ago, before he became Constable Quin, he give John Staples such a thrashing as put the poor old man in his bed for a week.
Is this true, Constable? Come, Constable, speak out.
The truth of the matter is that I did come to blows with my former master. But as anyone acquainted with us both will tell you, he struck first, and the contest was even enough.
I see. And is there any other point you would like put, Constable?
If you please, Mr. Rowe, I can see that what's mainly between Mr. Jenkins and myself comes down to his word against mine.
True, Constable.
In that case, I would like the court to be aware of 2 facts which may be confirmed by the official records of the Metropolitan Police.
And those are?
Mr. Jenkins has said that the events in question occurred on 4th September last. Would he tell the court on what date he was dismissed from the police and for what cause?
Mr. Jenkins?
I was dismissed on the 5th of September.
What for, Mr. Jenkins?
Silence, Constable! Why were you dismissed, Mr. Jenkins?
It were,
Speak out, please, Mr. Jenkins. I cannot hear you.
For drunkenness on duty and gross misconduct.
Forgive me if I am mistaken, Sir Robert, but surely you have rehung some of your pictures since I last had the pleasure of visiting this most delightful of rooms.
Your observation is accurate, Mr. Mayne. There has been some rearrangement. Obema's Chateau de Brederode. Very fine, is it not, Colonel?
Well, as you must know, Sir Robert, I am next billet to a blind man in the presence of fine art, but even I must recognise its quality. As I also note the absence of many of the late Sir Thomas Lawrence's portraits, which I have seen here previously.
Yes, I've had the bulk of them removed to Drayton. Since my father's death, I am, of course, obliged to spend more time there. Poor Lawrence. His own death appears to me to have been a dark ill omen, posted at the gateway of this most melancholy year.
I think that none of us will be unduly saddened to see the passing of the present year.
That is certainly true for my part. Sir Thomas in January, my father in May.
And, of course...
Now, Mr. Peale, I should have as soon as expected to see a pig in church as you at a race. Of course, that was just at the time when our Metropolitan Police measure awaited the royal assent, and His Majesty was quite loath to bestow it.
Yes, he was not, I believe, a staunch supporter of the new police.
Indeed not, Colonel. Do you recall the occasion upon which His Majesty personally congratulated the manager of the Theatre Royal for not permitting our constables upon the premises?
Yes, right. Yes.
He was undoubtedly a dyed-in-the-wool ultra in that respect. And yet, despite our differences, I am happy in the recollection of a most affecting interview which I had with him not long before his own death. And we parted, I think, on the best terms of our entire acquaintance.
I will take the liberty, Sir Robert, of hoping that we may say the same of our three selves, although our present leave-taking is a purely professional one.
For my part, Colonel, I say so most heartily. Scarcely a day has passed during the months of our professional intercourse, gentlemen, that I have not counted myself and the public singularly fortunate in our choice of commissioners.
It is very kind of you to say so, Sir Robert.
It is seldom in public life that the country receives so great a deal more from its servants than even the most demanding master could expect. You, if I may say so, gentlemen, represent such an exception to the general level of expectation.
Oh, come, surely we've done no more than our duty, Sir Robert.
Perhaps it is the extreme fatigue induced in me by the crisis and dramas of these past weeks which turns me so unwontedly fulsome. But, if Mr. Mayne will permit my saying so, in your own case particularly, Colonel, it is surely a bonus to find such a genius for patience and diplomacy in a professional military man. Tact in an old soldier, much like beauty in one's aunts, is pleasant to find, but not necessarily to be expected.
Oh, really, my dear sir, you say too much.
At all events, Sir Robert, I hope you may, for the moment at least, leave the conduct of your creation in our hands with not too many misgivings.
I am entirely confident that it could be in no better.
It had been our intention at this time to call upon Mr. Squires to testify in his own defence. However, as every person present may observe, Mr. Squires remains too
beautifully got up, isn't he, Sergeant? The bloodstain on a bandage is an inspiration.
Mr. Morley, I did not expect to see you here.
Silence in the court.
Oh, my apologies, Mr. Rowe. I was forgetting myself.
Good day, Mr. Morley.
Day, sir.
I must observe that you, of all people, should know how to conduct himself in a magistrate's office.
Your pardon, Mr. Rowe, sir. My pledge, it shan't happen again.
I trust not. Pray continue, Brother Cazalet.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. The court will be pleased to learn that although Mr. Squire's condition precludes his testifying in person, his employer, himself a witness to this atrocious assault, has graciously agreed to appear upon his servant's behalf. I call upon his lordship, Viscount Trowle.
Oh, don't they love a lord?
I hope the bench doesn't love him too much, or Quin's a goner.
Silence! Silence in the court! My lord, the court is honoured by your extreme condescension in appearing in what must, among your lordship's many concerns, seem a comparatively trivial matter.
Indeed, sir. I feel it no less than my duty to do all in my power to ensure that my most vilely used servant receives justice.
It scarcely seems necessary in your lordship's case, but if you would be so kind, the book.
My dear sir, I would insist if you did not.
Take the book in your right hand. Do you swear that the evidence you are about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
My lord, would you be so good as to describe for the court the incident in question, which took place in Whitehall on the afternoon of 3rd November last?
Indeed, sir. It is quickly told. Upon being driven along Whitehall toward the Houses of Parliament, my carriage was abruptly halted near Downing Street. Seeing no reason why this should have been so, I ordered my coachman to drive on. When after some moments he had not done so, I looked out only to see him being beaten with a staff by the defendant.
I beg your pardon, my lord. Constable Quin is not the defendant in this case.
Upon my soul, he ought to be.
Be that as it may, my lord. Was there anyone else involved in the fracas? Your lordship's footman, for instance?
I observed my footmen, faithful fellows, just coming to their comrades' assistance.
Did you, my lord, make any effort to interfere?
Not bodily, sir. 'Tis hardly the act of a gentleman to involve himself in a street brawl. I have no doubt that I did call out to my footmen that they try and stop the constable's violence towards Squires.
Now, my lord, Constable Quin has told the court that, so far from attempting to quell the disturbance, indeed when scarcely a blow had been struck, you cried out to your servants, "Thrash him, kill him, a guinea to the man who brings him down."
It is a black lie, sir, or at the very least a monstrous perversion of the facts. It is true that in the heat of the moment, seeing my servant so ill-used, I called to the other to thrash him, culp him.
Culp? I beg your lordship's pardon, but I am unfamiliar with that word.
If I might explain, Mr. Rowe, the word means to smite or beat. Its use by a gentleman of Lord Trowle's position may be regarded as somewhat of a solecism, but it is common usage among the vulgar. Derived, I believe, from the popish habit of thumping the chest during confession, in conjunction with the Latin phrase, mea culpa.
I see. Thank you, Brother Caslin.
Mr. Rowe.
Pray continue.
My lord. My lord, it is conceivable that the word culp might be misheard as kill, but the offer of a guinea is not so easily mistaken.
As to that, sir, I deny it entirely and emphatically.
Constable Quin, do you still contend that those were the words spoken by his lordship?
I do.
Are you able to produce any other person who will testify to having heard them?
I cannot. I have inquired among my brother officers, but none is able conscientiously to say that he was near enough to have heard his lordship distinctly.
Indeed. Mr. Rowe, I will inform the court that Lord Trowle's footmen are both prepared to attest that they never heard the words in question. And further, that the defendant would also be anxious to so attest were his condition such as to permit it.
I will take that in consideration, Brother Cazalet.
I desire to ask your lordship one more question. Were you not shocked at the occurrences we have been discussing?
Shocked, sir? No. Dismayed, horrified, appalled, yes. But shocked? No. It was my first impression, and it has become my considered opinion, that Constable Quin, like most of his colleagues, is little more than a common ruffian.
Mr. Rowe, on behalf of my brother officers, I protest.
Silence, Constable! While I would not go so far as your lordship in so general a view, I cannot deny that my observation has been that, upon the whole, the new police do not attract a particularly superior sort of man, even considering the classes from which they are largely recruited. However, that is not our concern at present. Gentlemen, I will adjourn for dinner, after which cases may be summed up.
The truth, Mr. Quin. Would you not at the moment positively welcome odds against you of only 3-1?
I do not, God knows, see many friendly faces in Mr. Rowe's office.
I held the magistrate's conduct of the proceedings to be shocking. Is prejudice again a matter of Lord Trowle and what words he did or did not say? Surely. One or another of your brother officers could have been prevailed upon to swear to what they must be morally certain was said, even if they did not actually hear it being said.
Such a notion could not be entertained under any circumstances, not by myself at any rate, and most certainly not by the commissioners.
Never, however tempting such a recourse might seem.
Should Colonel Rowan or Mr. Mayne receive even a hint of such a proceeding, as they most certainly would, every man implicated would be summarily dismissed.
Well, if fire is not to be fought with fire, Mr. Quin, I fear your fate has now passed entirely out of your own hands.
In addition to the plain facts placed so convincingly before us by his lordship and others in regard to the events of this case, I would also remind the court of what we have heard respecting the character of the plaintiff, Constable Quin. The same Constable Quin, you will recall, who does not consider himself an unusually hot-tempered man, but who nonetheless has been obliged to admit inflicting violence upon a former colleague and to vicious brawling with his master of 11 years. It is on those facts and those revelations concerning his accuser that I rest the defence of Mr. Squires.
Oh, do not stop, please, cousin. The air is so very melancholy as to be quite exhilarating.
Yes, that is why I stopped.
Oh, how very strange you are. Come, there is a little sun at last. Let us walk in the garden for a while. Or would you prefer your book?
No, neither. Nothing. I left off my book because it made me angry.
You have much admired works by the same lady in the past.
The heroine was coming to disgust me. The author holds up for admiration behaviour in her which seems to me so spineless, so lacking in character, and so unnaturally selfless as to be grotesque and absurd.
Oh, Maria, you exaggerate so. Is selflessness grotesque or absurd in a woman? It is the greatest virtue, surely.
Virtue? If it is a virtue, it is not mine. And to whom would I display such a virtue if I possessed it? My father?
Why, to him, naturally.
It is not so. I do as he dictates because I am mortally afraid of him. In my mind I am not obedient to him. In my soul I am not dutiful toward him. In my heart I am not meek and loving toward him. In my real heart I believe I have come to hate him.
You cannot say so, Maria. Your father.
I am sorry, cousin. I have no wish to make you wretched also. Come, kiss me, and we shall walk in the garden.
Yes, it will lighten your spirits, Maria, I'm sure. Yes, Lucy?
Excuse me, miss, but a letter's come for Miss Staples.
Oh,
for me?
From your father, no doubt. I thank you, Lucy.
No, father will never write to anyone except in the way of business.
Could it possibly be from
Martin? It would as likely be from the Emperor of China. Oh, why? It is from Mr. Lyton, our curate, but why would he...
Oh, Maria, what is it? What is it? What does Mr. Lyton say?
Oh, dear God. I must return to London at once.
But, my dearest cousin, why? What is it?
My poor, darling Martin. He is sent to prison.
That was episode 3 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll, with Mick Ford as Martin Quin and James Booth as Jeremiah Morley. Richard E. Grant was Lord Trowle, with Joanna Myers as Maria Staples, Norman Jones as Sir Robert Peale, and Elizabeth Bell as Mrs. Gascoigne. Peter Jeffrey was Colonel Rowan, and Killian McKenna Richard Mayne. Ian Lindsay was John Staples, Alan Barker Cazalet, and Timothy Bateson Frederick Rowe. Other parts were played by Susan Sheridan, Ronald Herdman, James Greene, Elizabeth Kelly, and Fraser Carr. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
For Mr. Peel's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.
Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such...
Peeler by Patrick Carroll, Episode 4.
Oh, Mr. Beale, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jemmy Square Toes.
And what do you want here, Reverend?
I wish to see Mr. Quin.
Huh?
Martin Quin.
Quin? Is a new one?
Yes, he's been here a few days only.
Let's see now. Ah, Quin. M for Martin. Third flight, number 31. Come, I'll point you in the right direction, Reverend.
Thank you. That would be most kind. God bless you.
If you'll be so kind as to go up that little set of steps, through the lobby, and up 2 more flights, you'll be in the third. 31 is almost to the end.
Yes, thank you. I think I shall find my way.
Anyone will direct you, and most of you will know their way about.
Merciful heavens.
Make it in. Make it in.
Oh, yes. 31. Martin? Martin Quin? Martin? Do you not know me?
What? I'm sorry, Mr. Lyton. I neither saw nor heard you at first. It's so gloomy in here, and with my back to the door, and I was far away, in fancy at least.
My dear friend, what you must be suffering.
No, suffering is too strong a word. Some do suffer in this place, but most do not. I seem to be merely numb.
But it is an appalling place, so foully close and dark and filthy.
Oh, you have never sailed in a ship transporting soldiers. This is Eden.
I do not seem to know what to say, my dear friend. I have nothing of comfort to offer, it appears. Nothing but prayer.
Prayer? Oh. No, I do not see how prayer will help me. It is the idleness which frightens me, Mr. Lyton. Even in so short a time, I've observed what idleness will do to most who come to this place.
Oh, yes, I'm sure, but... Martin, I am ashamed, but this awful place has paralysed my thoughts. I feel entirely helpless.
I only ask one simple thing. If you can bear to return here again. When I left my lodgings with Mrs. Bell, I asked if she would keep my tools in some safe place, should I ever need them again. I feel I need them now.
What? Your coopering tools? Why? What possible use... What would you do with them, speaking practically?
Oh, no, I am quite practical. I spoke yesterday with the gentleman who presides over the coffee room on the floor below. I offered to do any work in my old trade which he might want. I am already bespoke for 6 new 5-gallon casks.
And will he pay you?
He will. Not so much as I would ask outside, but here the rent is very low and there are no parish rates to pay.
Of course, I'll call on Mrs. Bell directly. In fact... if there's no other way in which I can be of more help and consolation than I have...
Yes. No, do not linger here, Mr. Lyton. It is kind in you to come at all, but I cannot see you so distressed without becoming more distressed myself.
It is so, I fear. Then I will...
Good day, Martin. And how do you feel today? Oh, I didn't know you had a visitor already.
Did you want anything particularly, Forry?
Well, just to know if you'd like to have me entertain you for tea. But seeing your present company, perhaps you'd rather sing a psalm.
I must be excused at present. Another time, perhaps.
Another time will be the first. Well, you cannot say as you wasn't asked. Afternoon, gentlemen. I shall take a turn upon the terrace.
Martin, how do you come to know such a
creature? Well, it is difficult not to know her.
But she's obviously nothing more than a common...
She is like myself, trying to ply her trade in order to free herself from this place.
Oh, upon my soul, Father, I never saw a man's face fall so far as that Galumpus Constable's did when Mr. Rowe gave his judgment.
I trust it has had a salutary effect upon him, and upon his superiors.
How upon his superiors, Mr. Rowe?
Oh, my lord, Colonel Rowan and Mr. Mayne must be made to understand that they cannot presume to usurp the ancient privileges of the English bench.
I confess I was not aware that they did so.
It has always been we, the magistrates, who have had executive powers of policing, we and the parishes.
But do you not feel that the old police system had become perhaps too antique for these modern days?
Perhaps so. I do not doubt that some reform of the police was called for. We are, after all, are we not, the party of reform?
We are indeed, sir.
However, I cannot admit the wisdom of taking the police entirely out of the hands of those with the widest experience in such matters and placing them in the hands of two complete outsiders, whose appointment is in the sole gift of the Home Secretary.
Oh, why, sir, there is no patronage attaching to the new police. The commissioners have assured me so themselves. In any event, we now have our own Secretary of State at the Home Department.
True, although I admit to some trepidation as to how Lord Melbourne will fare in that post.
I trust he will be less fawning toward the commissioners than was his predecessor.
Oh, depend upon it, my Lord Melbourne, when he leaves off cuckolding Irish bishops, will see to it that any credit earned by the new police will come to him, and any blame they attract will fall upon the commissioners.
My boy, I cannot approve of such a tone being used in reference to so distinguished a public man as Lord Melbourne.
Do not be a humbug, Father. We are three gentlemen drinking port, not a leading article in the Morning Chronicle.
I begin to doubt my wisdom in regretting that I so seldom see my eldest son at his father's table.
Come, Father, do not be out of countenance with me. Is this not an occasion of celebration? Mr. Rowe has cocked a snook at the commissioner who so beset him, and I have had my own revenge for their insolence to me.
Oh, I deplore the word revenge, my lord. However, it is true that your lordship's testimony ensured that justice was done.
In truth, Mr. Rowe, I made certain that it should have been, although justice was scarcely my object.
I beg your pardon, my lord.
You do not wish me to believe, sir, that you actually took my word against that of the benighted Constable Quin. Why, a glance would tell you that he had not the wits to invent such a story.
Do you mean to tell us, sir, that you perjured yourself under oath?
Oath? Am I so weak-minded that my will shall be turned and my intentions baffled by that farrago of prettily told tales which we call the King James Version?
You are blasphemous, my lord.
Mr. Rowe, I apologize most humbly for my son's infamous conduct. I feel it to be a shameful reflection upon myself.
No, I pray, sir.
I think the ladies will begin to notice our absence.
Of course, my lord.
You, sir, are at liberty to join us, stay where you are, or leave this house.
As there is yet port to be drunk, and as the ladies are all my relations, I shall remain here, thank you, Father.
Who's there? Who comes on a poor blind man? Half inch bear at on.
None of your bog patois to me, Davy. Your English is bleary enough.
Ah, Mr. Morley, sir. Cade me la fault you got hussar. Begging your pardon, you're more nor welcome, sir. Come to the fire, poor as it is.
Now, chappy Davy Kearns, do I see a white stick and an old black eye shade? You haven't gone back to the blind harper's lay, have you?
Oh, I'm terribly reduced, Mr. Morley, sir. I've nothing to eat but brown Tommy and old Peg, and not seen a glass of porter this fortnight past.
Ah, you're an audacious old scoundrel. If a man were to take up this floor, he'd find a king's ransom.
Ah, Mr. Morley, it isn't so at all. Of course, I'll have a few poor pence put by for the day when I'll go home to die and to be buried in my native heath.
Ah, your native heath will be a lime pit in Newgate if there were any justice in this world.
Cruel words, Mr. Morley, cold and cruel.
Oh, do I not know you, Davy? Have I not compounded with you myself for the return of Luke before this day? Why, now that Ikey Solomons has gone to Botany Bay, there isn't a brazen-faced fence that shows himself in the brown bear than you.
It has ever been the height of pleasure to me to transact business with so genteel a man as yourself, Mr. Morley.
Transact business, huh? Yeah, if the justices didn't turn a blind eye, we should all be hanged for transacting such business, eh?
How can that be so? All you people at Bow Street, Mr. Townsend, Mr. Ruthven, you've all of you done the same. It's the regular old way.
Well, it's a hanging offence for all of that.
Ah, sure, never mind, Mr. Morley, sir. It'll be too late to change it all, be this. And now, would you be telling me how I come to be honoured today with a visit from Mr. Morley?
Well, that's right, Davy. It all comes to business in the end. Well, I tell you that I've seen a deal of late of an old chum of yours.
And who would that be, Mr. Morley?
Peter the Screever.
Ah, the bold Screever, the prime fist, the primest fist anywhere.
And have you met the Screever of late?
Well, hasn't Mr. Reed that lovely shop now? The height of respectability.
Yes, have you met him, Davy, in, let us say, the last 2 months?
Mr. Morley, sir, I'd tell a lie if I said I hadn't.
Any business?
Ah, 'twould betray a confidence to say, Mr. Morley.
Oh, come on, you're an old hand at that, Davy. Come on, out with it.
Now, he did have a few trinkets that he asked me to look after for him.
And have you still got 'em? Davy, I've got my own ways of finding out in the end. One word and the
now
Lord
then,
Chancellor...
Mr. Morley, sir, you wouldn't take advantage of a poor old man. I couldn't just give them over. I'd be suffering a terrible loss if I did that.
I don't want to take 'em away, Davy. Only the sight of 'em. See, if they're concerned in my present bit of business, well, business it shall be. Yeah, in the regular old way.
Ah, if that's the way of it, Mr. Morley, don't say another word. Yes. There you are, Mr. Morley. Pretty as a picture.
Oh, trinkets, did you say? Well, did the Screever say where he bagged them?
He did not. No more did the other gentleman.
The other gentleman?
I never heard his name, Mr. Morley, upon my eyes. I met with him and Screever in a snug little house at the west end of the town. He stood the punch and was the height of genteel all around.
And what sort of looking man was he?
I couldn't take to say, Mr. Morley. He kept his hat on and was well wrapped up the whole time. And he sat in the shadow and never left his seat. More younger than older. And like I said before, pleasant and genteel in all his dealings.
Yeah, and is this the whole poodle? Come on, the truth now, Davy. Is there any you've gone and fenced already?
My eyes, Mr. Morley, sir. That's every piece I had of Screever, I swear it.
I want a list of these trinkets, Davy, and then I'll leave you to your prayers.
£300? I'd see him damned first. I'd see him damned in hell for the want of 3 pence.
Please, Father, I beg you, if not for his sake, he who served you for so long, then for mine.
Why, God, am I in Bedlam? Have I a daughter so mad with ingratitude and disobedience that she begs me to find out £300 to free a man who struck her father to the ground? He's in his proper place. Were he there only for his insolence to me? Undutiful Harridan.
It is true. I may be nearing madness. I do begin to fear for my reason. But undutiful? No, it is not just to call me undutiful. And if I were, dear God, have you no duty to me? Is it a father's duty to keep his child from her life's happiness? Is it his duty to make her every moment an affliction?
Don't you dare to speak of my duty to you! I who feed and clothe you and give you a bed. My duty!
Please, I implore you, once more only, make your peace with Martin Quin and help to free him.
No! Never!
Then I quit your house.
What?
This day, this hour, I shall go to him and stay with him if he will have me. If we should both starve and never see another day of liberty until he dies.
Is it a prison you want? You shall have all the prisons you can bear! And not leave this house to enjoy it!
I shall leave. I shall. You must kill me to keep me here.
Must I? Must I, indeed?
Why, What an honour for my humble luck, Mr. Morley.
Afternoon, turnkey. You look tolerably fit and prosperous.
But I holds up, Mr. Morley. Holds up and holds out.
I wish to see a new scholar of your name of Quin. Martin Quin.
Well, it's a remarkable thing how many does. Clergymen, police sergeants, and now Mr. Morley of Bow Street. Who'll be the Duke of York next, I shouldn't wonder. Third flight, number 31. You know your way, Mr. Morley.
I do, turkey, I do. Good day to you, Margaret. And how do you find yourself today?
Make it in. Make it
Oh, that's fine, Margaret. I'm rejoiced to hear that.
in. Make it in.
Well now, Constable. Should it not have been the army after all?
Mr. Morley, you'll excuse the informality of the present arrangements.
Well, as to that, Constable, I've always been of the opinion that a Spartan mode of living may be a very wholesome thing.
You are acquainted with Sergeant Dutton, if I recall.
I have the honour. I hope to see you well, Sergeant.
Oh, for myself, sir, quite well, I thank you. Though I am naturally downcast to see our friend in such a place as this, and the victim of such an injustice as he has suffered.
Yes, I confess to much the same emotion, Sergeant.
A man must pay his just and lawful debts.
True, true. Civilization perishes otherwise.
Yes, but what of unjust and unlawful debts?
They must be sometimes paid as well. And how do you propose to do so, Constable?
Well, I hope to find a way. I've only now been saying to Sergeant Dutton that I shall soon have me old tools and will so be able to work at my trade.
You'll need to cooper a deal of barrels to realise those costs.
Yes, £300. It's a long road home, but it's the only one I see.
Yeah, but on your commissioners, I mean, can they do nothing?
I'm convinced that they would, if it were in their power to do so.
However, it is not apparently. Although surely they must have some recourse.
No, I find it best not to dwell on such hopes. Sergeant, do you think you should be able to secure the timber I need?
Oh, I can see no obstacle to that, Constable.
My first need, you see, will be to construct a steam cabinet. It's true, I've not much space.
Yeah, but money, Constable. Have you money for such things? Look, if not, I'm no capitalist, but I don't...
Do not think of it, Mr. Morley. I've managed to save enough in the past so as to be able to secure my needs.
Why?
And to pay the chummage that allows me this room for myself.
Why? With such means, I would have thought you
could
have paid...
No, I do not have so much as that, huh? £40 at most. But I shall eat, and soon I shall enjoy an income. Well, at least I trust I shall.
Sergeant Dutton, it's extremely fortunate that I find you here.
How so, Mr. Morley?
And I'd hoped to ask Constable Quin's assistance in a matter of business. A police business. You may be able to aid me as well.
Well, I'm sure we're at your service, Mr. Morley.
Indeed so.
I have here a list describing certain items of property which I believe have been stolen. My recollection is that the objects, if they indeed are the same, were stolen from a house in your division.
Oh, I see. Well, if I may. Small diamond and sapphire tiara, emerald pendant, gold ring set with emerald and diamonds. Yeah. Constable, do you not remember?
Yes, I do. They were reported as stolen from a house in Ely Place belonging to a widow.
Yeah, Mrs. Abrahams.
Now, that was the lady's name, Sergeant, I'd swear to it. But, Mr. Morley, is your list a complete one?
You recall some other pieces?
Oh, I believe I do. It's a brooch, a cameo brooch, a very distinctive one as I recall its description. I may be mistaken, but such a thing sticks in my mind.
No, I do not think your memory is playing false at all.
Pray be comfortable, gentlemen. I confess I had not anticipated we should be receiving members of two learned professions at this time.
I trust you will forgive the liberty of my allowing Mr. Morley to share my appointment with you, gentlemen, but I find he feels the same concern which brings me here.
Colonel Rowan, Mr. Mayne, it's very good of you to receive me at such unseasonable notice.
We, or at least I, have not had the honour of your acquaintance, Mr. Morley, but we could hardly be expected to deprive ourselves of the opportunity of becoming known to so famous a man.
Yes, particularly one whose field of endeavour is related, however tangentially, to our own.
It's exceedingly gracious of you to say so, sir. At At another time, sir, I would welcome an occasion when we might discuss the inevitable day when our two forms of police enterprise should be more closely integrated.
That would be most agreeable, Mr. Morley. For the moment, however, gentlemen, how may we serve you?
If Mr. Morley will permit me, we both wish to make the strongest representations on behalf of the imprisoned Constable Martin Quin, who we believe has been the victim of a monstrous injustice.
Oh, the phrase does not overstate the case, gentlemen. The decision of the court should never have gone against the constable in the first instance. And after the verdict, well, for Mr. Rowe to set such impossibly punitive damages was entirely iniquitous.
Colonel? Yes. Gentlemen, it is undoubtedly a highly irregular procedure, but perhaps it would be best if I request Mr. Mayne to read out to you a letter which we received early this morning from the Under-Secretary of State at the Home Department. Mr. Mayne?
Indeed, Colonel, I have Mr. Phillips' letter here. To the Commissioners of the Metropolitan Police, dear sirs, the Secretary of State, Viscount Melbourne, acknowledges receipt of your letter of the 8th ult regarding Police Constable number 47, Martin Quin. In reply, Viscount Melbourne desires me to acquaint you that he cannot accede to your request that the Home Department in any degree mitigate the fines and costs, in default of which Constable Quin has been imprisoned. Viscount Melbourne further requests me to state that to accede to such a request would be to cast an aspersion upon the entire magistracy of the country, and that he feels some surprise that the question did not appear to the commissioners in that light before they made their request. Yours, etc.
Well, the Secretary of State does not equivocate, at all events.
He does not, sir. Gentlemen, our helplessness in this business has left me with a damn bad conscience. I will not scruple to confess that within the bounds of a proper impartiality, I have watched Martin Quin's progress in his short police career with a closer interest than I have that of almost any other recruit.
He is, by all accounts, very able in his duties.
True, Mr. Lyton, he is. But that apart, he has also my tacit encouragement as a former comrade-in-arms.
Comrade-in-arms, Colonel?
Yes, Mr. Morley. Constable at one time served in the 52nd Foot, my own regiment. As Corporal Quin, he served under me at Waterloo.
Why, sir, I was aware that Constable Quin had been a regular soldier, but I had no idea of his regiment. And at Waterloo?
Aye.
Why, such a time ago he must have been in swaddling clothes.
Not at all, Mr. Morley. Quin, as I recall, would have been fully 15 or 16 years of age at that time.
Is that not still a tender age for battle, Colonel?
Bless you, sir. I was myself barely 14 when I became an ensign in the 52nd, and I was not the babe of the regiment by any means.
Gentlemen, these recollections of Constable Quin's past must make us doubly despondent as to his present and immediate future.
True. I do not doubt that you gentlemen will feel that your interview with us has been a sadly unprofitable one.
Indeed not, Colonel. I am sure that Constable Quin would and will be gratified to know that the Commissioners are unwavering in their personal and professional esteem for him, and in their strong conviction of his complete innocence.
If such an assurance affords Constable Quin any consolation in his ordeal, it is most gladly given.
Yes, sir. Martin Quin stands in need of his friends. But it is not mere sympathy he requires, it is help of another kind. Oh, yes, help of another kind.
Miss? Miss Staples, are you all right, miss?
Yes, Mrs. Gregory. Come in.
I've brought you some supper, miss.
Is he downstairs?
I'm not to speak to you, miss. His orders. I'll put the food here.
Oh, you must help me, Mrs. Gregory. You must.
But I cannot. There's nothing I can do. If he should find me out, I don't know what...
Yes, you are right. It is not fair to... But
Mrs.
take
Gregory, you have your orders?
Please, quickly, before he comes, take this. Take it and give it to Mr. Lyton.
I can't, miss.
Please. Thank you, Mrs. Gregory.
What's this? Off with you, Mrs. Gregory. I shall bring this dutiful girl her food myself in future.
Take the food away. I will starve before I eat or drink again in this house.
Downstairs, Mrs. Gregory.
Yes, sir.
Low, brazen.
Will you beat me again?
Should I choose, starve yourself wilfully, you who are the slave to your own appetites, and who have never had the will of your own in 24 years?
I have a will now because I have an object.
Be content. You will never attain it. You will not leave this room until I see you broken back to your duty and obedience to me.
Then I shall die in this room.
And as to your object, he's done. Not 1 in 500 with debt such as his leaves that place but in a coffin.
He is here in a moment, Edward. Do you really think it wise that you should be present during his visit?
Why should I not be present? My dear Amelia, am I to be inconvenienced by such a fellow?
But he is remarkably...
Mr. Morley, ma'am.
Good day, Mrs. Gascoigne.
Good day, Mr. Morley.
I have redeemed my promise to call again.
So I see, sir. I regret that your visit does not find me entirely disengaged.
Well, I'm sure this gentleman will excuse a brief intrusion upon matters of business.
Viscount Trowle, allow me to present Mr. Morley.
Oh, your servant, my lord. Although we've not been introduced, I had the opportunity of hearing your lordship's testimony in the case of your coachman and Constable Quin.
The renowned Mr. Morley of Bow Street, I believe. Extraordinary. Your reputation precedes you, sir.
Indeed, my lord.
Most assuredly. Tell me, Mr. Morley, is it, upon my soul, I would not distress your feelings for the world, but is it true that you began life as a coal heaver?
Why, yes, my lord. In my early days I did labour upon the Thames barges.
How remarkable.
I will take the liberty of observing that had your lordship begun life as a coal heaver, I should think it likely that he would have remained a coal heaver to this day.
My Lord Trowle has been parried most effectively, I perceive.
Not at all, Mrs. Gascoigne. It has ever been my opinion that it is most becoming in us that we remain gracefully in the station to which we are born.
Perhaps so, my lord. In any case, are you perfectly sure that you would not prefer to withdraw while I speak with Mr. Morley?
On the contrary, madam. I am not to be put out of countenance by policemen, however exalted they may have become in the minds of the vulgar.
As you please, my lord. Mr. Morley, have the goodness to state your business.
Gladly, ma'am. Mrs. Gascoigne, I observe that you include in your present costume a cameo brooch, which I believe you also wore on the occasion of my first visit here.
Why, did I?
Yes. I remember remarking my admiration of it to our friend, Mr. Reed. Be so good as to tell me where you obtained it.
Why, I hardly... My lord?
Believe me, madam, I have no secrets from Mr. Morley.
Why, the piece was, in point of fact, a gift to me from his lordship.
Yes. Mrs. Gascoigne and myself, being friends of long standing, the brooch was a present to mark her recent birthday.
Indeed. And what will your lordship say when I inform him that I have every reason to believe that the object presently adorning Mrs. Gascoigne's bosom is stolen property?
Stolen?
Here, shouldn't you be more interested in what goes into them kegs than in the kegs themselves? I would be.
Yeah, no doubt you would be, Florrie.
Here, don't you want a lap of this? Best Hollands.
Yeah, in a while, perhaps, when I've done with this.
I don't think you're a natural man, Martin. Indeed I don't.
How so, Florrie?
You don't want nothing. That ain't natural.
Oh, I have my wants, Florrie, just as much as another.
Make it in. Make it in. Make it in.
Oh, Mr. Peale, what...
That was episode 4 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll. Mick Ford was Martin Quin, with James Booth as Jeremiah Morley, Richard E. Grant as Lord Trowle, Elizabeth Bell as Mrs. Gascoigne, and Joanna Myers as Maria Staples. Peter Jeffrey was Colonel Rowan, and Killian McKenna, Richard Mayne. John Staples is played by Ian Lindsay, the Reverend Lyton by Timothy Carlton, and Lord Laverton by James Greene. Other parts are played by Ronald Herdman, Mark Straker, Timothy Bateson, Susan Sheridan, and Elizabeth Kelly. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
For Mr. Peale's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.
Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such...
Peeler by Patrick Carroll. Episode 5.
Oh, Mr. Beale, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jemmy Square Toes.
Stolen? This brooch stolen? Mr. Morley, you are either mistaken or you attempt to jest in extremely dubious taste.
Indeed not, ma'am. The brooch in question was until recently the possessed property of... whom, my lord?
Why, sir, I own I bought it in a public house from an Irishman of rather amusing rascality. Where he came by it, I do not know and did not inquire.
Indeed, my lord.
Oh, come, my lord, this won't do. I believe we are both aware that the brooch is the rightful property of Mrs. Abrahams of Ely Place.
Mrs. Abrahams? How can that be so?
And further, my lord, so far from buying jewellery from this amusing Irish rascal, you in fact sold to him divers other pieces, also the property of Mrs. Abrahams.
Is this true, my lord?
Do you dare, sir, to accuse a gentleman of such transactions?
Is it true, Edward?
It is at all events impossible of any proof.
I fear your lordship is very amateurish in this enterprise. Both Davy Kearns' defence and Screever Reed, the forger, will, if necessary, testify against you.
Why should they, sir?
For the identical reason that your lordship's servants were willing to perjure themselves against Martin Quin. It was in their interest that they not risk your lordship's displeasure.
And why should those two villains be less loyal than my servants? They've certainly been well paid. Or do you pay them better?
Again, your lordship betrays himself as an infant in these matters. I do not pay either of them a farthing. However, they are aware that if I choose, I'm able to make their illicit activities impossible, or at least unprofitable.
Mr. Morley, should what I suspect be true, I shall be happy to bear witness against Lord Trowle myself, regardless of the consequences.
Have a care, madam. Any inconvenience visited upon me shall be repaid with interest.
Regardless of any consequences to myself, Mr. Morley.
Mrs. Gascoigne, in order to spare you the ordeal of a detailed interrogation, I will outline what I suspect to be the sequence of events which concerns us all here.
A highly entertaining prospect, Mr. Morley.
Having seen the letters forged by Screever Reed and addressed from his lordship to Mrs. Abrahams, I have deduced that Mrs. Abrahams visited this house on a number of occasions in connection with the services which you, ma'am, have informed me that you offered here to certain respectable ladies.
Quite correct, Mr. Morley.
In the course of these visits, I believe Mrs. Abrahams became acquainted with and enamoured of his lordship.
What a flame to such a moth, Mr. Morley. Would you not agree?
I may easily imagine that the surface glamour attaching to a gentleman of Lord Trowle's position might well have had an unsettling effect on a widowed lady of Mrs. Abraham's age and temperament.
Indeed. It does not require so very great an effort of imagination, after all, does it, Mr. Morley?
No, indeed, ma'am. The internal evidence of those letters leads me to the conviction that Lord Trowle represented himself as fully reciprocating Mrs. Abraham's amorous sentiments, and that, under that pretence, various sums of money were extracted from the lady.
Mr. Morley, you must be very careful in making accusations which cannot be substantiated.
Oh, believe me, I am, my lord. These sums were designated as loans which would aid his lordship through some trifling temporary difficulties. Difficulties which would be ended upon his lordship's attaining his 25th birthday, whereupon he would come into a large independent property and thus be at liberty to marry Mrs. Abrahams without reference to the wishes of his father, Lord Laverton.
A pretty scheme, was it not, Mr. Morley?
A pretty shameful and wicked method of bilking money from an unfortunately foolish woman, whose most grievous fault is of too easily bestowing her trust and affection upon an unworthy blackguard.
A fault, to my bitterest regret, upon which Mrs. Abrahams holds no monopoly.
Do not be a hypocrite, Amelia. Who instigated such a plan in the first instance?
I deny nothing. But I may easily perceive that I have been most foolishly blind to your lordship's refinements of the original scheme.
Yeah. Shall I continue, ma'am?
By all means, Mr. Morley.
There would also have been, of course, Mrs. Abraham's letters to his lordship. But I'm convinced they may have been destroyed.
By whom?
By the lady herself.
Why, sir, how would she have recovered her own letters to Lord Trowle and... unless... Ah, I begin to understand.
Yes, ma'am. His lordship or one of his creatures went to Mrs. Abrahams and, knowing that his own letters could be dismissed as forgeries, demanded a further price for not making our letters public. A course that must have irredeemably compromised the lady.
Prove it, sir, prove it, or I shall demand the satisfaction my honour requires. And do not
be still, my lord. A fool may see that Mr. Morley would thrash you senseless without troubling to remove his coat. Mr. Morley, can you provide proofs of what you say?
Sufficient to satisfy myself, ma'am. I know that the jewels, reported as stolen from Mrs. Abraham's house, were sold to Davy Kearns by a gentleman whose description would not be incredible if applied to his lordship.
But if the jewels were stolen, how did Lord Trowle come by them? Surely even he does not stoop to housebreaking.
You may depend upon it, madam.
There was no robbery. A burglary was counterfeited to enable Mrs. Abrahams to account for, well, the loss of her jewellery. I expect the business was executed by Screever Reed. It bears his hallmark.
I cannot doubt it, Mr. Morley.
The supposedly stolen property was then turned over to his lordship in return for Mrs. Abraham's letters to him.
So, my lord, this is how I am used. Everything that has passed between us has, after all, so little weight with you.
Not at all, my dear Amelia. I have improved
You have cheated and deceived me. I have been made a fool of.
Oh, tush, madam. Why, have you not that extremely valuable cameo brooch to compensate you for... Amelia.
That is my opinion of such compensation, sir. I repeat, Mr. Morley, you may depend upon my full cooperation in any proceeding which will bring his lordship's infamous villainy home to him.
Hold, madam. Do not forget that I am in a position to testify as to what is the actual purpose of this establishment. No doubt you feel justly that you have no reputation to lose, but procuring and brothel-keeping are still punishable by imprisonment or even transportation. Am I not correct, Mr. Morley?
Quite correct, my lord.
I tell you, I do not care what happens to me, if only I am revenged upon you.
I think, madam, that upon due reflection you will agree with me that the time has come for us to simply go our separate ways, with neither doing or saying anything which might discommode the other.
I am so far in agreement with your lordship. However, before we all go our separate ways, you will oblige me by signing a document which I prepared.
Sign? Indeed, I shall sign nothing, sir.
You will, my lord. If you do not, the fashionable intelligence will shortly be aware that a certain young nobleman is to appear before the bar of the House of Lords upon charges of robbery, forgery, blackmail, and perjury. A process, I dare say, your lordship will find infinitely more discommoding than the one which I propose.
What is this document?
You may, of course, read it. You will find it to be a full account of what has concerned us here today. With such an attested paper in my possession, I may be able to undo some of the mischief that has already been perpetrated. I shall also be in a position to permit your lordship a space of time to make arrangements for a discreet withdrawal from the limelight of town life and society. Ugh. A season upon the continent may possibly recommend itself.
Upon my soul, sir, this is not to be borne. The paper, if you please, sir.
A very little portion of justice, considering his lordship's conduct, but better than no justice at all.
Yes, I shall require you to sign the document as well, madam.
I assure you, sir, I shall do no such thing.
I think you will, madam.
Well, when his lordship is quite finished.
Don't be fretty, young man. You may sit down by a crippled man and come to no harm yourself.
I will sit a while, thank you, sir.
Tired out, are you, then?
A little, yeah.
Why, only being in this place is drudgery enough. If you're so soft as to work when there's none to make you work, well, you will be tired.
And have you seen me working?
I have. Well, the jail peeler's made a little cooperage in his own room.
I find it better than being idle.
Not so good as being free. Not so good as that, eh?
No, not so good as that.
Look up above that dirty wall. Look at that sky. With them cushioning clouds and the sun we've hardly seen these 3 months past. Why? What will you do on such a day?
Well, if I had my liberty, do you mean?
Oh, your liberty. And the use of all your limbs.
Yeah. Why? I think
I know what I'd do. I'd walk out in the fields beyond the hybrid barn, I'd take along the New River towards Hornsey Wood, and I'd drop a hook in the water and lie on a bank and care no more if I caught a fish than if I caught a flea. And I should go to the old conduit house and drink strong ale and eat oysters and pie. I shouldn't be dull.
Well, what man would be?
Why, the man who stays where he needn't.
When he... I do not understand you, Mr...
My name's Wallace. Clamber Wallace, they call me. Ain't you ever heard that name?
Why, no, not that I recall, no.
Then you won't know how I come to be so crippled and maimed. Hey, you're a tradesman, aren't you? A cooper?
Well, I was.
I was put to a trade once, years ago. I was a little clergyman.
Oh, a chimney sweep, you mean?
Oh, a sweeps boy. And that's small. Why, squirrels was nothing to me. I one time ran away from my master by going up a sugar refinery chimney, then swarming 40 feet sheer down the outside. Bare brick wall all the way, and I ran 2 miles before I was missed.
When I was a parish boy, the board thought to put me out to a sweep, but I was too big, even then. So they sent me for a soldier instead.
Comes the same in the end. Killed a Mayne for another's benefit.
Oh, is that how...
Oh, what, have a chimney? Not I. But it comes of being a sweeps boy all the same. You've heard what some masters does with their boys to make them pay better.
Oh, I've known boys to be lent for a price to housebreakers.
The very thing. I couldn't help it. It was steal, be whipped or starve. I stole. Hey, ever been in Newgate, Peeler?
Never. What? Yeah, not
I've been in Newgate, waiting for me interview with Jack Ketch. Do you know how I come to still be topside?
Pardon?
None of it. I escaped.
From Newgate? Well, I thought no one had ever escaped.
Oh, no, just me. I'm the only one. Though I lost an arm, half a leg and done to my face what you can see has been done, they didn't catch me again for 6 years. Then they pardoned me. Good on them, weren't it? Not to hang a cripple.
Yeah, but how? Yeah, even from the outside.
Climbed, clambered. That's how I come by the name.
Oh, those walls are 50 feet at least, with every kind of spiking, all round the top.
But there's one corner with his assistant. Why, I got myself wedged, feet and back, in the angle. I just inched up. I fell back down twice, but I kept my eye on a patch of sky above, like I'd done up the chimblies. And I got to the top at last.
Yeah, but the spikes...
they did for me. Didn't keep me in, but... they took the toll, you see me missing now.
Yeah. And after all of that, you find yourself here?
Yeah, I'm here. Why not? Inside or outside, there's nothing for me but begging. Here, if the begging's is thin, there's still a roof. Even if it's only on the poor side.
And it would be hard to escape now?
I'd escape, none of it. Even as I am, I could scarce out of here easy as a cat through a cobweb. And, well, if I was young and old like you...
Yeah, I suppose it's not the fastest prison a man ever built.
If you was to choose, you could be out of the Arms Grill window, down the pool, and bound for New York before the lock had drunk his tea.
As easily as that?
Easier.
To one who has been long in city pent, 'tis very sweet to look into the fair and open face of heaven, to breathe a prayer full in the smile of the blue firmament. Who is more happy? Who is it?
Hush, miss. Oh, bless us, look at your face. What's he been doing to you?
He continues my moral improvement. Is there any news? Has Mr. Lyton called?
He has not, miss. I'm sure he's had your letter, but he's not been here.
I have written another. You must see that it reaches him.
I'll try, miss. Is there nothing else I may do to help you? I must go quickly. There's no one else to answer the door.
Yes, of course. But first, take this.
Yes, miss. Mr. Lyton. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Gregory. Is your master at home?
Why, he is,
It is
sir.
vital that I speak with him.
Yes, sir. Walk in. Mr. Staples. Mr. Staples, sir. Wake up.
What the blazes do you want here, curate?
If Mrs. Gregory will excuse us...
Yes, back to your kitchen. And I shall want another bottle of spirits presently, Mrs. G.
Yes, Mr. Staples.
Now, curate, what brings you here? You haven't been to my house in a long while now. Mind, that's no distress to me.
I have recently received a most shocking communication from Miss Staples.
What? Has that jade been smuggling letters out of this house?
I see that what I feared is true.
I'll take the blood out of her for it. And that cag, maggerish old scarecrow of a housekeeper for helping her. She won't cook any more meals here.
Sir, you have made a prisoner of your daughter in her own house.
My own house, curate. My own house.
I will not suffer that innocent creature to be used in such a manner.
Innocent creature be damned, shameless, undutiful slut.
May God forgive me for saying so, but I thank heaven that your unfortunate wife is dead, that she is spared this.
You don't dare to speak of my wife. If I ever hear the veriest whisper of my wife on your lips, I shall break your head, cloth or no cloth. No, get out of my house, before I break it anyway.
I warn you, John Staples, the vicar shall hear of this, and the other vestrymen.
The Archbishop may hear of it, for all of me. Oh. Now, are you going?
No.
Don't you dare put a hand out of that door directly, or by the Eternal, I'll knock you down the steps.
Take my...
And you may tell the vicar and the vestrymen, I'll serve them the same if they try to come between me and my family.
Wretched, damned all intolerable beast. If he's not heard the last of this, I swear I...
Here, sir.
What do you want with me, boy?
The old woman below, sir, in that there house. She passed this up from the earring. Told me to give it to the Reverend gentleman when he come out.
Well, did she say anything else?
No, just that. To give you the letter.
Oh, why, thank you, my lad. Here, do not go wanting for your supper.
Oh, thank you, sir. I shan't.
Now, here's a most extraordinary communication.
I beg your pardon, Colonel?
We have a letter from Mr. Morley.
And what concerns the great detective today?
He requests that one or another, or preferably both of us, wait upon him at the office of Mr. Rowe, Chief Magistrate at Marlborough Street, at 9:30 this evening.
What possible purpose can he have in making such a request?
He pleads that the matter is of such delicacy and the need for confidentiality so acute as to prevent his being more particular in a letter. However, he does hint that the matter bears upon the subject of his previous interview with his office.
Constable Quin?
Surely. Well, for my part, I shall certainly attend at Mr. Rowe's office.
Despite that gentleman's undisguised antipathy to our police and ourselves?
Yes, despite that. I feel obliged to do anything which might conceivably aid Constable Quin, yes.
Be assured, Colonel, you may depend upon my company and support.
Thank you, my friend. The fate of a solitary constable may appear to some a trivial matter, but I cannot regard any unredressed injustice in that light.
Yes?
Kindly inform Lord Trowle that Mr. Reed is called. I wishes to speak with him on a matter of great importance.
His lordship is not at home at the present moment.
Ain't he? And when might I expect to find him at home?
I could not undertake to say. His lordship departed for Dover within the past hour, having expressed his intention of crossing to Calais by the first available packet.
But Calais? He can't have left me to... It can't mean that I...
Pardon me, Lord Laverton. This letter has been delivered by messenger from the magistrate's office at Marlborough Street. The messenger was at pains to stress its urgency, my lord.
Thank you, Porter.
My lord, I trust that you will excuse me the liberty of addressing you with the most urgent request that your lordship find it convenient to call to my office here at Marlborough Street tonight at 9:30. I would not think of intruding upon your lordship's time and condescension were I not in possession of intelligence of a most pressing and disturbing nature.
And wouldn't you like to escape and go off to America?
Oh, I'm content enough here. Or, no, I don't mean here, but here in England. Besides, it would mean a long sea voyage and ships and I don't agree too well. At least we didn't when I was young.
Oh, I dream of it sometimes. Not of America itself. Not of them horrible wild animals and beastly red heathens, I mean. But of leaving all my life behind.
Why don't you?
How could I? Even if I was ever to get out of this place, how would I pay the passage and keep myself?
Well, aren't there folk, societies and such like that help people wanting to emigrate?
Oh, them, I know them, with their black gowns and long faces like grim death.
They mean well, surely.
They take our Lord as a purge for themselves and use him as a scourge for the backs of the likes of me. I am what I am, and I ain't proud of it. But I'll have some gaiety out of this life, or I shan't have no life at all.
And so you should, but don't you think...
Good evening, Martin.
Why, Mr. Lyton, have you braved the dungeons again? Well, it's noble in you. Are you acquainted with Miss...
Yes. Yes, I encountered the young woman on my previous visit.
Come, Reverence. You can't catch a pox just a looking.
Really? Martin, I must speak with you privately. I have a letter for you from... A letter I'm sure you would rather read when not in company.
A letter? But who writes to me in such a place?
Miss Staples.
Who is Miss Staples?
Miss Staples is the daughter of my former master.
And what are you to her that she should write to you in a prison?
Why, Florrie, Miss Staples and I had hoped at one time to marry.
Why? Well, I'm happy to hear that. I had thought that one time that you were, not like, well, that you didn't have a man's natural feelings towards women. But now, I'm truly delighted. Goodbye, Martin.
I'm sure we shall see each other again, Florrie. You are almost always welcome here.
Martin, I do not know how you can tolerate the company of such a creature.
No, I don't expect you to. May I see Mariah's letter, and is there any other news?
I called upon John Staples today.
And how does he prosper?
He is a drunken brute. He treated me abominably.
Well, did you particularly upset him, or was he simply acting in his usual way?
I went to remonstrate with him over his treatment of his daughter. He was... But perhaps you had better read Miss Staples' letter. It no doubt bears upon the subject.
Yes, the letter.
My dearest Martin, it has become clear to me in my hours of solitude that existence without my heart's desire is not to be borne. And I intend, despite anything which anyone may say or do, to be united with you. I have set upon one infallible way of escaping my father's house and influence, and having followed that way, it will be, for me at least, a very short while until I am joined for all eternity with he who is already the husband of my soul. Until that hour, I am, believe me, your most sanguine and loving Maria.
Lord Laverton to see you, Mr. Rowe.
Mr. Rowe, I have received your communication. Mr. Rowe, I assume that you desired a confidential interview. Who are these other gentlemen?
My apologies, my lord. Allow me to make you acquainted with Colonel Rowan.
Your servant, my lord.
Mr. Mayne.
Honored, my lord.
And Mr. Morley.
Mr. Morley of Bow Street.
Also your servant, my lord.
I confess myself to be at a loss to comprehend what my presence might possibly add to such a distinguished assemblage.
Mr. Morley, as it is by your request that we're gathered here, perhaps you'll be good enough to explain your purpose.
Most certainly, Mr. Rowe. Lord Laverton, I must take the liberty of informing you that your son and heir is an ignoble scoundrel.
How dare you, sir? My son may have his faults,
An ignoble scoundrel, my lord, utterly unworthy of his father's affection and patronage. If Lord Trowle were to be presented with the alternatives of having the contents of this document made broadcast, or using a pistol to make an end of himself, he would, if he retained a scintilla of honourable feeling, choose the pistol.
You're very dramatic, Mr. Morley.
The circumstances appear to me to warrant such emphasis, Colonel Rowan. We are, after all, concerned first and foremost with ameliorating the black injustice presently being suffered by Constable Martin Quin.
Quin? You mean the constable who appeared before me last... what has he to do with this business?
Directly, very little. Indirectly, everything.
Pray proceed, Mr. Morley. I assure you that you have at least my full attention.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rowe. As you have observed, Constable Quin appeared before you some months ago, and was found against as a direct result of the perjured testimony of Lord Trowle and his servants.
How do you establish that remarkable assertion, Mr.
I
Morley?
established it by adducing a signed deposition to the effect. And if any of you gentlemen doubt it, read this document and note the signatures at the bottom, one of which I am sure will be familiar to Lord Laverton at least.
How do we know this paper is genuine? or by what means it was acquired. It may, for all we know...
Peace, Mr. Rowe. I perceive that there is no profit in pretence.
My lord?
Gentlemen, I am most abjectly ashamed to admit that Mr. Rowe and myself have been aware of my son's perjury for some days past. He admitted, nay, boasted of it.
Do you mean to say, Mr. Rowe, that being cognizant of these perjuries, you have allowed Martin Quin to remain in his present state?
Well, what would you have me do, Mr. Mayne? Oh, come, sir, you're a lawyer, a gentleman conversant with courts and their proceedings. Gentlemen, was I to undermine the public confidence in our British justice by trumpeting an entirely understandable error committed in an entirely unimportant case?
Unimportant case? Yeah. Upon my soul, sir, you're exceedingly generous with another man's suffering and loss of liberty.
Be that as it may, Colonel, what would you have me do?
If you will allow me, Mr. Rowe, I believe I may suggest...
Mr. Morley, do you vouch for the entire accuracy of this statement signed by my son to this infamous business of forgery and blackmail?
For your own sake, my lord, I'm deeply grieved to say that I must.
If that is the case, from this day I no longer know my son. He is disinherited from this moment.
Oh, well, that is a matter for your lordship. It is Martin Quin who concerns me.
Yes, Mr. Morley, my colleague and I are also primarily interested in what may be done for Constable Quin's relief.
And release.
It is undoubtedly most regrettable, but I do not see how what has been done can be undone.
Do you not, Mr. Rowe? Ah, well, I think I may see a way clear. Lord Laverton.
Sir?
It is true, is it not, that the present ministry of Lord Grey, of which you are so prominent a supporter, is shortly to introduce a measure for comprehensive parliamentary reform.
That is true, sir.
I cannot doubt that should the document you hold in your hand become public, the prospects for the passage of any reform measure sponsored by your lordship's party would not be enhanced.
Surely, gentlemen, our entire party cannot be impeached by a scandal attaching solely to his lordship's son.
What is it precisely that you propose, Mr. Morley?
I propose, Colonel, to entrust that document to yourself and Mr. Mayne. Gentlemen, if a method can be devised whereby Constable Quin's liabilities might be discharged and his professional character vindicated, then I am sure that the commissioners will be entirely willing to exercise their own discretion when considering whether to bring the document to the attention of the Lord Chancellor.
The Lord Chancellor?
Or in advising Constable Quin as to the wisdom of its use, should he be inclined to bring a private action against Lord Trowle.
Well, indeed, Mr. Morley, I'm sure that Mr. Mayne and I desire only that justice be done to Constable Quin. We are in no wise anxious for the unnecessary embarrassment of innocent parties.
One would expect no less of you and your distinguished colleague, Colonel. My lord, Mr. Rowe, you will perhaps wish to consider the matter privately?
Yes, Mr. Morley, if you and the commissioners will be so kind as to excuse us. In parting, I may assure you of my opinion that the course you tacitly suggest is entirely practicable, insofar as I may make it so.
I am happy to hear you say so, my lord. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Gentlemen.
Come, Mr. Morley, will you do me the honour of returning to Whitehall Place and joining Mr. Mayne and myself in a little light supper?
Delighted, Colonel Rowan. I'm honoured and delighted.
That was episode 5 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll, with Mick Ford as Martin Quin, James Booth as Jeremiah Morley, Richard E. Grant as Lord Trowle, Elizabeth Bell as Mrs. Gascoigne, and Joanna Myers as Maria Staples. Peter Jeffrey was Colonel Rowan, and Killian McKenna Richard Mayne. John Staples was played by Ian Lindsay, the Reverend Lyton by Timothy Carlton, Florrie by Susan Sheridan, and Frederick Rowe, Timothy Bateson. Other parts are played by Norman Jones, Elizabeth Kelly, James Greene, and Fraser Carr. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
For Mr. Peel's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.
Whereas offences against property have of late increased in and near the metropolis, and the local establishments of nightly watch and nightly police having been found inadequate to the prevention and detection of crime, and whereas it is expedient to substitute a new and more efficient system of police in lieu of such...
Peeler by Patrick Carroll. Episode 6.
Oh, Mr. Peel, what have you done with your police act so grand, sir? It will be the cause, I have no doubt, of filling Van Diemen's land, sir. London now, believe me, sir, is overstocked with queer codes who wish the police act and you were sent to Jimmy Square Toes.
So, girl, Mrs. Gregory has said that you begged to see me.
I do, Father.
Upon what subject? Not that there can be but one subject between us at present.
Indeed, I am aware of it, Father. And I wish to tell you, at last, that I have been so blessed as to see now how grievously I have offended against you.
That would be a blessing indeed. If it were true.
I pledge that it is, Father. I have been given to realise that my demeanour towards you has been most abominable and hateful.
So it has.
And that realisation has made me 1,000 times more wretched than ever my fancied grievances did.
And what will you do in this enlightened state?
I will most humbly petition for my father's forgiveness and for God's.
And then?
I shall strive never to be so wicked as to oppose you in any way, in the hope that you may some day again come to love and regard me as your most dutiful and obedient daughter.
And Martin Quin in his just prison, what of him?
I promise I shall never willingly see him for as long as I live.
Swear it. On your knees.
I swear it, Father. I swear it upon my mother's memory.
Get up, Maria. You may come down and take your place at my table.
Thank you, Father.
You remain on probation, mind.
You will see that I am truly sincere in my present feelings.
It will be best for you that you are, if you are not. Come. Let us go down.
Yes, Father.
Ah, Mr. Morley, sir. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Evans. I hope I see you well.
Never better, sir. We do not have the honour of your presence so often as we could wish. We must make the best of it.
Very hospitable, Mr. Evans, very. Well, a good attendance this evening.
Why, so it is, Mr. Morley. We generally do well when our friend Mr. Butler takes the chair.
Mr. Evans, as our host, be acquainted with Mr. Dutton and Mr. Quin.
I have, of course, had the pleasure of seeing both of the gentlemen before, wearing naturally the uniforms which designate them in their professional capacities. It is an honour, therefore, to welcome you in your private character.
Oh, a pleasure, Mr. Evans, you may be sure.
Indeed, Mr. Evans. We're enjoying a dispensation from uniforms and duties tonight in most agreeable circumstances. Happy, I'm sure, to bring our modest celebration to your excellent house.
If you will walk this way, gentlemen, I have a table prepared for your private use. Rob, look smart now. See to these gentlemen as your particular charge.
Mr. Evans!
Well, Mr. Dutton, your health, sir. I am aware that of all of Mr. Quin's colleagues, none has been more faithful in his support and sympathy during the dark days just ended. Yes.
Allow me to return thanks, Mr. Morley, and to assure you that I have only acted out of the united feeling of our entire division.
I am sure that knowledge has been a great consolation to Mr. Quin in his ordeal.
You're right, Mr. Morley. Bad times show good friends.
Yes.
Oh, there's justice in that. I cannot deny that in the past Mr. Quin and I have had those conflicts as will arise between the commanding and the commanded, and some other differences as well.
Novels in the coattail, eh? And reform views, yes, Mr. Dutton?
Just so. Mr. Quin has had ways and ideas I've thought unseemly in a police constable. Not in keeping, was my opinion. But we can't all be constituted the same way, and I've never had a lasting word to say against Martin Quin, as a man or as a constable. No, nor as anyone else as I'm aware of, and I don't scruple to say so.
Mr. Dutton, you're too kind.
Hush, Mr. Quin, hush. The sergeant, I call him so merely to give his words the weight of his rank, says nothing of you not attested by the commissioners themselves.
You do get on exceedingly well with Colonel Rowan and Mr. Mayne, considering the short span of your acquaintance.
Why, I must own that we have found ourselves of one mind in things in general in our few meetings. Remarkable gentlemen both. Colonel Rowan in particular.
Come the truth, Mr. Morley, how did you do it?
Do it? I fail to understand you, Mr. Quin. Do what?
Secure me release. Now, I don't know much, Mr. Morley, but I'm sure it was you that managed the business.
Why? How could Mr. Morley...
Luck, sir. Little more. I did exercise a little discreet manipulation, but in truth, I found myself sitting in Fortune's lap and was able to bring certain parties around to my way of thinking without too much difficulty.
But which parties and how?
Oh, in time, Mr. Quin, in time.
In any case, I am sure you have benefited me more than I...
Mr. Quin, what is it?
I must ask you to excuse me for a moment, gentlemen.
The individual who takes his seat by the fire. Is he who I imagine
Mr.
it is?
John Staples.
Ah, indeed.
Good evening, Mr. Staples.
What in damnation are you doing out of... Well, Prentice, what do you want of me now you're here?
I thought, first I might have the pleasure of refilling your glass, Master Staples.
Send up a dram, then. My guts seem to want it tonight. And I ain't particular who I get a drink of, so long as I get it.
You shall. I've told the boy to bring your usual directly. Mr. Staples?
Aye.
Well, you'll know where I've been these past months.
I've heard.
From Mariah, from Miss Staples.
And others.
A man finds a deal of time to think in such a place.
Does he, then? I wouldn't know. Never having been in quad myself.
Being there rather cleans out the mind, if you understand me. You seem to get closer to putting things in their proper order.
What things might they be?
Why, for one, I find it ain't important to me to quarrel with you anymore, Master Staples.
You don't, eh? You don't find it important?
No.
Did you think of giving me your apology, then? Did you think to make amends for the liberties you took and the usage you've given me? Is that your proper order of things?
No, I don't find I've any apology to make to you. I regret that our differences came to the point they did, but they did. And the one thing I wish to do is to put it right from me mind, to leave it lie down, start a fresh slate.
Is that what you want? Well, it won't do for me. I ain't a forgetting sort of man, nor yet a forgiving one.
No, I can't say as I ever supposed you were, but...
Come, there's something behind this. You want something of me. I can see it.
Only to mend our differences, or at least... Mr. Staples, a few days ago I received a letter from your daughter.
Did you, though? She's a great one for correspondence, is Mariah. Though I think she'll be having less of it in future.
As I don't need to remind you, sir, your daughter and I have desired for several years past to be married. In the letter I speak of, Miss Staples does me the honour of asserting her determination that we shall be so united, regardless of any opposition.
Does she indeed?
Yes. Now, it would be much more agreeable to us both, I'm sure, if you should approve or at least not oppose our union. Now, that is why I have spoken to you as I have tonight. But approval or no, we shall be married.
You won't.
How are we to be prevented, huh? Not by coercion, physical or... No, not by coercion, I promise you. I will not suffer any
Coercion be damned. You shall not be separated from my daughter by any force, but by her own choice and inclination.
Her choice? But I know her inclination is all in favour of... But I know it.
Do you? Well, I know better. So you wish to mend your quarrel with me tonight?
I did.
Well, you failed. You are still my enemy and shall remain so till one or both of us is dead. But I did mend another quarrel today.
Another?
Aye, with my daughter. She pleaded that I might see her in her room this morning, and she humbly begged for my forgiveness. Begged upon her knees.
She couldn't.
On her knees, with hot tears of shame streaming down her face. Almost affecting it was. And then she followed me downstairs and presided at my table, as is her place, the very picture of a meek and dutiful daughter.
I don't believe it. That's a lie.
Is it? Why, you may come to my house and ask her if it is. Only that she don't want to see you ever again on any pretext whatsoever.
She will have to tell me so herself.
Then you come and ask her. But ask her from the street, for if you ever set a foot over my doorstep, I'll put a ball between your eyes.
You threatened to shoot a police officer.
Oh, don't come that gammon. There's no policeman between the two of us.
Prime your pistol then, for I shall be at your doorstep at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I wish you good night.
Good night, Prentice. Thank you for my liquor.
Your interview with Mr. Staples appears to have been quite animated, Mr. Quin. Particularly in its later stages.
Despicable man he is, I could willingly see him dead.
What's he been saying to you?
He tries to impose the most monstrous and transparent lies upon me. I cannot allow him to affect me so.
Oh, by all means, calm yourself, my friend. I assume from your demeanour that you approached him with a view to reconciliation. I take it he did not receive you in like spirit.
No, he did not. He swore he'd be my enemy to the grave, and then he had the rank audacity to try and make me believe that Maria had changed her heart and now wants nothing further to do with me.
Well, could such a thing not be possible?
How can I believe it when I carry a letter in my pocket pledging her affection and faithfulness for eternity?
Oh, it's clear, surely, that your former master merely wishes to torment you.
Yes, you must not become so inflamed if you know him to be lying.
And surely, again, the thing is easily put to the test.
It is, and I've told him I shall be at his door tomorrow morning. And if, as I suspect, all he has told me tonight is a lie, Maria shall come away with me and we shall be married at once.
I should think Inspector Beale may have a word to say about that.
If I marry in defiance of my bride's father, I shan't be too anxious as to anyone else's opinion.
Now, gentlemen, has everything been to your satisfaction?
Oh, entirely, Mr. Evans. The saddle was most excellent.
Ah, the very best Welsh mutton, you see.
And really, not much left, as you may see.
No.
A fine joint, eh, Mr. Quin?
Oh, yeah, very, yes. These gentlemen are aware, Mr. Evans, that I have been rather on Lenten rations of late. It's put me in a proper heart to give ample justice to your hospitality.
Thank you, sir. You have done so and more. Now, Mr. Morley, if I might take the liberty of offering a final suggestion, I have in my cellar one last bottle of the 08 port.
Really?
As you and your friends are marking a special occasion, perhaps?
Why, the very thing, Mr. Evans. Up with it, if you please.
Directly, Mr. Morley. Oh, and Mr. Butler presents his compliments, desires to know if you will favour the company with a song.
Oh, why, Mr. Evans, return my compliments to Mr. Butler and inform him that with a glass or two of the 08 inside of me, I'll undertake to sing any song he cares to name.
Very well, sir.
Come on, man.
Come, Mr. Dutton. Is your head quite clear yet?
Oh, quite clear enough. Thank you, Mr. Morley. Are we leaving?
Oh, yes, Mr. Dutton. Our host will want to be in bed before daylight.
You're right, it's gone midnight, eh? We don't wish to overstay...
Mr. Evans, sir.
What is it, Rob?
Mr. Staples, sir. He's
Drunk, as usual. I declare I don't know why I allow him to use this house. Come, Mr. Staples. You must stir yourself, sir. You can't sleep. What?
Mr. Evans, sir, what's wrong with him?
Mr. Morley. Mr. Morley, step over for a moment.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Evans.
There's not a doubt of it. Dead as Mr. Pitt. But how? Why, not an hour ago he was
Look
talking
for yourself,
to Constable...
gentlemen.
An hour ago, I almost wished him dead.
Yes, you did, Mr. Quin. Yeah. Sergeant Dutton, does Mr. Tuke, the surgeon, still act as coroner for this district?
Yes, sir, he does.
Be so good as to step round and alert him. It will not be a good policy to move Mr. Staples until an expert, another expert has seen him.
Mr. Morley, you don't suggest that anything unnatural has happened to him?
I don't suggest it, Constable Quin. I'm convinced of it. What is your opinion, Mr. Tuke?
There can be but one opinion, Mr. Morley. Poison. From the disposition of the corpse, I should guess antimony. That, of course, must remain a supposition until an autopsy can be performed.
Just so. Although I'm quite convinced that you are correct, sir.
You are very soon upon the scene of this tragedy, Mr. Morley.
I may take no professional credit for that, Mr. Tuke. I chanced to be here in a purely private capacity this evening.
Yeah, fortunate coincidence.
Yes, I took supper here with my friends, Constable Quin and Sergeant Dutton.
Are these men police officers?
Yes, sir. You are, I believe, acquainted with my superior, Inspector Beale.
And at least I was well acquainted with the late Mr. Staples.
Were you? Perhaps you will then be able to hazard a guess as to why the unfortunate man should have taken poison.
Oh, no, I could not. In truth, Mr. Tuke, the notion of John Staples making away with himself is completely outside his character, as I knew it.
In that case, you will perhaps need to look further afield. Eh, Mr. Morley?
Could he have taken such poison accidentally, Mr. Tuke?
What was Mr. Staples' trade?
He was a master cooper.
Had he been a tanner or a cloth dyer, there would have been a remote contingency, but a cooper. No, impossible.
Such a dose as would kill a man must have been taken or administered deliberately. But where and by whom?
Well, it can't have been here, sir. I served Mr. Staples' spirits myself all the evening.
You did?
Why, yes, I did, but I didn't
compose yourself, Rob. Now, tell me, did Mr. Staples partake of any company this evening?
No, sir. He hasn't been much in company at all of late. He hasn't been over popular with the other gentlemen for some time past.
I saw him in conversation with only one other tonight, and that was your friend, Mr. I should say, Constable Quin.
Well, yes, that's true enough. And you know, Mr. Morley, that our conversation was not a friendly one. Well, I can't pretend that it was.
Yes, well, no doubt all these points will emerge at the coroner's inquest. I'm sure there will be an inquest, will there not, Mr. Morley?
No doubt of it at all, Mr. Tuke.
Of course, Martin. How could I refuse to accompany you on such an errand, dreadful as it is?
Thank you, Mr. Lyton. I honestly cannot predict what Miss Staples' reaction will be, but I feel the need of support from another of her friends, and your office may also be
Just
needed.
so. I understand entirely. Do you propose to call now at this unseasonable hour, or to wait until morning?
I strongly suggest that we wait upon Miss Staples without delay, sir.
Will it make a great difference to her, do you think?
I cannot speak as to that, Mr. Quin, but it may make a great deal of difference to others.
To others? Well, by all means, let us go then.
I shall be with you directly. I am properly attired.
There is someone at home, surely.
There must. Where would the household be at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Decamped, perhaps.
Decamped? To what purpose, Mr. Morley?
What indeed? Such an idea is absurd.
Oh, no doubt you're right. Try the door again, Mr. Quin.
Oh, Mrs. Gregory, where are you? The poor woman must be getting deaf as a post.
There's a light.
Mrs. Gregory! Maria! It is Martin Quin at the door. I must come in.
Blessings upon us, Mr. Quin. What are you doing here? And at such an hour?
Do not distress yourself, Mrs. Gregory. Is Maria at home? Well, I have news for her.
What is it? What's happened?
Your master has not come home tonight, I believe, Mrs. Gregory.
Well, I did not hear him, surely, sir, but I sleep away at the top of the house.
I fear he will not be coming home again, ma'am.
He is dead, Mrs. Gregory, at the Saracen's Head, not 3 hours ago.
Oh, but how?
Well, we think...
That's not entirely clear, ma'am. He was taken at first to be in a drunken stupor at the end of the evening. Closer examination, however, revealed him to have expired.
Oh, what a dreadful thing. Not, may God forgive me, that I shall mourn him for very long.
I'm sure he will forgive you if you pray for his mercy.
Mrs. Gregory, is Miss Staples at home?
Well, she is at home, but she's been retired to her bedroom these 4 hours
Ma'am,
past.
I must request you take us to Miss Staples' room directly.
Oh, yes, sir. She must be sleeping very soundly. Really, I don't like to wake her, sir.
Miss Staples! Miss Staples, I'm coming in. Oh, asleep after all. And I was sure she'd be far away by this.
And so she is.
What? She cannot be.
Oh, you and I have looked often enough upon the faces of the dead to know.
No, it cannot be. A hand. Give me a hand.
No, there's not a tremor. Not a breath. There's nothing.
May God forgive her. May we all forgive and be forgiven.
Be still of God. She will have such peace and mercy as her in creation, and God will look on helpless, world without end.
Martin, such words at such a moment.
See to Mrs. Gregory, Mr. Lyton. There is no need for you here.
Your name is written on this letter by the bed.
Oh, give it to me, and be so good as to go downstairs, Mr. Morley. I shall touch nothing but the letter.
Of course.
But Martin, surely...
Leave me!
Oh.
My eternally dearest Martin, all prison walls must crumble in time. All jailers must eventually pass away. In these last few moments before the final liberation, my mind, for so long clouded and numbed, has cleared and wakened. I see now that my chosen means of escape is not only the best and truest path for myself, but also renders the kindest justice to others. that he, who has been my prison master, should find his release from a life that must have become miserable to him through my hand is, at last, the most filial offering I could have made him. But it is to you, my darling Martin, that I offer the great boon of my disappearance from among the gloomy lights of this world. Can one so unfitted as I know myself to be for both felicity and misery hope to make another happy in this world? I fear it could not be so. I must look forward to another sphere in which we may yet be together, and where I may have become worthier of my beloved. Until that time, I remain, believe me, truly to be your own most loving and now serene Maria.
Gentlemen, if you please. Foreman, has the jury reached its verdicts?
We have, sir.
May we hear them, if you please?
Yes, sir. We, the jury, called by the coroner of this district to inquire into the deaths of John George Staples, Master Cooper of Northampton Square, Clerkenwell, and of Maria Caroline Staples, spinster of the same address, after considering the evidence placed before us, find that John Staples met his death as the direct result of a large dose of the poison antimony, administered by his daughter Maria Staples, while the balance of her mind was disturbed, and thus return a verdict upon him of unlawful killing. We find that Maria Staples died from the identical cause, having taken the poison of antimony in a dose large enough to have killed her, and we thus return a verdict of self-destruction.
Thank you, gentlemen. Your verdicts will be recorded and passed to the appropriate authority. You're excused with the coroner's thanks, which we also extend to Mr. Evans, landlord of the Saracen's Head Tavern, for the use of his premises during this inquest. The inquest is hereby adjourned.
And that is the end of the chapter.
Oh, I suppose it is, Mr. Morley. Yes. As I came here today, I passed through Northampton Square. Somehow my feet would not go another way.
It is no more than should be expected, my friend.
I noted, by the way, as I passed, that your friend Mr. Reed's printing shop is dark and shuttered.
Yes. I fear I have been the cause of his having lost the patronage of the excellent Mrs. Gascoigne. In point of fact, I believe both Screever and Davy Kearns the Fence are retired from the metropolis for the present.
Oh, don't be delicate, Mr. Morley. You've warned them away, I'm sure of it.
It was hinted that Birmingham, for instance, might prove greener pastures just at present. I observe that you are once more in uniform, Constable.
Yes, I resumed it only today.
And how do you find yourself in it, after all that's passed?
Oh, much the same. The streets and the people in them have not altered greatly on account of my absence.
Oh, there have been alterations, depend upon it, Constable. And it's your duty, as it is mine, to observe and be aware of them.
And thus be better able to sweep away the drunkards and harlots and keep the rabble at bay, yeah?
Well, I must own that since I've ventured that description of your duties, my opinion of the new police has altered somewhat for the better.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say so, Mr. Morley.
Which is not to say that the humble abilities of some of the old police can be entirely dispensed with. See, not all deaths, for instance, will be so easily explained as those of the tragic Miss Staples and her father.
Oh, that is certainly true. You will know that there was a moment when I felt sure that John Staples' death would be laid upon my head.
Most unlikely, from a detective point of view. No court could have sustained such an idea.
But yet must I remind you that courts have been mistaken before and will be again?
The more the need then for the new police to become able detectives. I have said so to Colonel Rowan and Mr. Mayne.
Well, no doubt you are right, but I shall be content for the present to manage as best I can with the drunkards and harlots, who will surely be with us yet a while.
Your words remind me, with no disrespect to the young lady in question, of the small commission you asked me of a few days ago, the matter of your former fellow prisoner.
Yes.
Yeah, a simple business. The young woman's debts did not amount to as much as £12, and they've been discharged, and she was released yesterday. Although released to what future I do not ask.
Oh, nor do I, Mr. Morley. I only say that my experience of the girl's character does not lead me to despair on her account. The debts were paid anonymously, of course.
Yes, as you directed.
And as were my own. Come, Mr. Morley, will you not now tell me exactly how you secured my release?
Nope. I do not feel myself at liberty to say. I suggest that you might ask the commissioners.
Well, I shall certainly have an opportunity to do so. I am appointed to call at Whitehall Place in 2 days' time.
You must make sure to remember, when you see them, that Mr. Morley of Bow Street most earnestly desired is compliments.
I shall indeed, Mr. Morley.
Good day, Constable Quin. I trust we see you well.
Quite well, thank you, sir.
And we further trust you find yourself happily restored to your friends and colleagues.
Or as happily as can be expected so soon after the recent tragedy, of which, I assure you, Mr. Mayne and myself were most distressed to hear.
Indeed. Our condolences, Constable.
Thank you again, gentlemen.
If I do not intrude, Constable, you had, I believe, known the young lady and her father for some little time.
12 years, sir.
12 years.
If it's not inconvenient, may I request permission to ask the commissioners a question?
Of course, Quin.
I should say that I spoke with Mr. Morley the other day. He begs me, I must add, to present his best compliments to you both, gentlemen.
Very kind, I'm sure.
Now, sir, I know that somehow he was instrumental in my being released out of prison, but he refuses to say exactly how he managed it. He did say, however, that I might inquire it of the commissioners.
Blackmail, Quin, that's how he managed it. Bold, benevolent blackmail.
Blackmail? I don't understand, sir.
Mr. Morley learned, by means of his own individual methods, that Lord Trowle, in concert with Mrs. Gascoigne and a man he calls Peter the Screever, were engaged in some pretty precious villainy in relation to a certain widowed lady. Mr. Morley brought their activities home to them, and, under threat of public disclosure, forced Lord Trowle to admit that he and his servants had perjured themselves against you.
And with that admission in his hands, the ingenious gentleman from Bow Street induced 2 interested parties, whom we must forbear to name, to mitigate your debts and expunge the verdict against you. It was all done with the nicest tact and sagacity.
Oh, I see. Well, at least thank you, gentlemen. I'm happy to know that my feelings of gratitude toward Mr. Morley have a sound basis.
You may be assured of that. But now, to our present business. Martin Quin, my duty constrains me to observe that you are no longer to be permitted to wear your present uniform.
Why not, sir?
Because it is no longer proper for you to do so.
But I must beg the commissioners to inform me in what way I have disqualified myself from wearing my uniform.
You are disqualified by virtue of the fact that, following the most earnest recommendations of your superiors, and at the express order of the Secretary of State for the Home Department, you are hereby stripped of the office of Metropolitan Police Constable and are promoted to the rank of Sergeant.
Sergeant?
My congratulations, Sergeant Quin.
Sergeant Quin, you carry, as I do myself, a wound suffered in the final battle against Bonaparte.
Yes, sir.
Despite that wound, you would, had it been necessary, have continued in your duty.
Why, I hope I would, sir.
Yeah. You have, in a sense, been more grievously wounded in your present service than ever you were by the French. Are you full-heartedly willing, despite that, to continue your service to your fellow countrymen?
I hope I am, Colonel. I feel I am.
Excellent. You're excused, Sergeant. Carry on with your duties.
Yes, Colonel Rowan.
That was episode 6 of Peeler by Patrick Carroll, with Mick Ford as Martin Quin and James Booth as Jeremiah Morley. Peter Jeffrey was Colonel Rowan, Killian McKenna Richard Mayne. Joanna Myers played Maria Staples, and Ian Lindsay John Staples. Ronald Herdman was Sergeant Dutton, Richard Pearce Mr. Yardley, and Timothy Carlton Reverend Lyton. Other parts are played by Alan Barker, Mark Straker, and Elizabeth Kelly. The singer was Martin Carthy. Peeler was directed by Janet Whittaker.
You Toms and Jerrys now lament that Charlies now will queer you. For Mr. Peel's new watchman will be far too strong to fear you.